All right. Hello, 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 everybody. Oh, this is not muted somewhere. There we go. All right. We're back. I'm back from Eternal Weekend. We have a lot to talk about. I got a couple of plans for this stream. Gonna talk about how I did and how Death and Taxes did at Eternal Weekend. We're gonna maybe watch some of the feature matches that D&T got. I think it got 4. It's at least 3, but I haven't actually gone back and like scrolled through all of the old footage. But I wanted to watch some of the D&T matches that I could that I didn't get a chance to. We're gonna jam in the Legacy LCQ tonight in 58 minutes. I don't actually know if I'm gonna play D&T. I might. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then I guess I'll do a little bit of discussion. We might discuss it a little bit more next week, but talk about kind of what I'm gonna be doing on the channel in the next couple of months, because I don't have a ton of incentive to play Legacy, and I have a lot of incentive to like play Standard and some Limited in preparation for the Pro Tour in February. So I might shift some of the content that direction. I'm not really sure, but gonna talk. Step 1, we're gonna talk about Eternal Weekend. So if you're watching this out there on YouTube or something later, you're just here to watch me play Magic. Probably fast forward like an hour to the LCQ start time. But there is a lot to talk about because D&T had a remarkably good performance at Eternal Weekend. Myself, I did horribly. I actually did very well in some of the side events. Maybe not very well. I did pretty well in some of the side events, but I got dumpstered. Hey, SSBM Pepperjack, thanks for the resub. Appreciate it. Do you know how Black White Taxes did? I don't see anyone talking about other than Acolyte. There was a Black White Taxes list that made top 64. I think was that I got the lists pulled up here. That I was going to kind of talk about some of the lists and how they did and stuff. But Black White definitely didn't. I'll be honest, just straight up. I'm pretty sure I said this on last week's stream. I was feeling kind of like about D&T in general, and just like the Legacy meta just didn't feel like I was mostly just showing up for vibes and like maybe I'll do okay, maybe not. And then I played in like the Legacy High Roller side event on Friday and I actually did really well. I lost my winning into enemy of the stream, Wonder Pro, from all of our Tuesday night prelims getting slaughtered by Wonder Pro on Turbo Doomsday. So I lost the winning in to get 4 dual lands there. I instead got 1 dual land, which was a decent consolation prize. But I went 5-1 into 5-2. Lost a match. I beat Reanimator, Blue Black Tempo, Painter, Blue Black Tempo, lost Reanimator, beat Moon Stompy, and then lost to Turbo Doomsday, which is just, the nightmare matchup. On the actual day, my first match was streamed. I was the round 1 feature. Unfortunately, we're not gonna watch that one because I don't want to watch it. I got slaughtered pretty badly, which is unfortunate because Blue Black Tempo is a really, really good matchup. But sometimes you lose your good matchups, And if you want to go watch that, you can. It's a pretty uneventful game 2 and game 3 where like he flips a Tamiyo. He like forces my removal spell and flips a Tamiyo, and then Thought Seizes me 3 times, and I draw blank for 5 turns. And then game 3, I keep a sketchy 2-lander, and then I get wastelanded twice, and then I die. Very unceremonious. We're hoping that the other matches are much more interesting. But my own experience aside, I guess then also after the main event, I also played in the team tournament where I went 3-0 personally, but my team dropped after we took a loss because we had better things to do, and all we were really playing for was the big card. But I beat Nadu Zenith twice and Moon Stompy. The deck was feeling much better than I was feeling the previous week. I was like very kind of low on how D&T was, but then we get to the actual main event, and I hear that D&T is undefeated going into day 1 at 9-0. AJ Franklin, who 9-0s day 1 and double draws into the top 8. Theodore Lockman, aka Coinman, in the D&T Discord, lost to AJ in the 95 card mirror in like round 7, and he's like X-1 going into day 2. And then there's one more player that I didn't even know, Lion Chen, who's also in the Discord. I didn't even hear about this person until like the final round of Swiss on Sunday. Enough. Lion Chen also, I don't know their day one result. I guess we could like math it out, go back to round 9, but the day one result's not that important. But ended up at 8-2-1 and made top 32, just barely squeaking in for the crop rotation. But 3 copies, all red white, all I think almost identical lists. I think Coinman and AJ were both on my exact list, and then Lion's list was like 1 or 2 cards off. Whoops, this is not what I meant to do. Lion's list. It was like a cut the 4th reb for the needle, which is something that I had like literally done and talked about last week, and then the shaved the magus for actual blood moon, which is something that I had also talked about. As just like magus is kind of iffy versus Eldrazi sometimes, and like an actual blood moon's harder to answer. And then cut a sideboard bombardiers for a Phyrexian Metamorph, which I can kind of honestly get. Metamorph was kind of interesting when the Japanese mono white lists were playing it as like kind of a main deck out to getting reanimated early. If you can like not get literally turn 2'd, you can sometimes like steal their Archon or their Atraxa and kind of win that way. Anyway, kind of seemed a little surprised black white seemed to do worse than red white, but it could just be chance. I do think like the reason I was playing red white is because I think it was better positioned for the decks that I wanted to beat, and like black white has a better matchup versus like Reanimator and Delver and stuff, but has a worse matchup versus a lot of the stuff like Eldrazi and Nadu and stuff like that. And red white's matchup against the blue black decks is still very good, so targeting the matchups that I felt were worse was the decision point that I wanted to make. Legacy right now is all about killing your opponent, kind of. Something that I have tried to. I think we hammered it home a lot in the State of the Toodle, where like D&T's inevitability doesn't really feel as important as it has in the past, because so many decks just kill you out of nothing. So like having the ability to like, you know, Yori on 7 permanents or whatever and crush your opponent card advantage doesn't really matter when like Nadu is like 1 combo piece away from, you know, drawing 8, 16, 12, 16 cards or whatever. When Eldrazi's stone raining you 3 times. When Reanimator, you know, is trying to end the game on turn 2, stuff like that. And there were so many moments that like I and other players on the red splash just like you just get to like untap and like dome your opponent for like 12 or something and just actually end the game, which I think is honestly like one of the biggest draws to red white outside of like the really really good hate cards you get like Magus and Pyroblast. Eldrazi had been on the decline. Mystic Forge very much on the incline. As noted, this was a matchup that I was trying to dodge, but I don't really think that's an option at all anymore, especially online. Dog, get out of here. We're going to talk about how I would adjust the deck to like just try to live through Mystic Forge, but this matchup is a disaster for D&T, and one of the reasons that I'm like considering not playing it tonight. I feel like this deck is just going to be everywhere after it had like an insanely dominant performance, 3 copies in the top 8, one of them winning. This is no longer a dodge matchup. I think you just have to tech for this deck. I think that's about it. Sorry to all the mono white believers, but everyone who was like, yeah, mono white did really good in Japan. Like, there's someone that 8-2 in it, 8-2'd with it and stuff. The top placing mono white list in this event was, I think, like 600th place or something. Like, not even the top half of the players in the room. There were several red whites and black whites. There was a decent amount of like black white Overlord too, which is a card that, again, something that I almost played, and something that like if Eternal Weekend had been a few weeks later, I might have actually just registered instead. I couldn't really get the list to feel right to me, so I kind of shelved it to maybe like tinker with more later. It is Coin Man right there, 12th place. Hell yeah. Am I getting a chat log? Oh. There we go. Anyway, Congratulations to Coinman for the 12th place finish. Incredible work. 1,150 people-ish, something like that. 12th place is phenomenal. Very excited that this deck did so well, honestly. Like, it blew me away when I heard that that coin. I was so excited. I was feeling really bummed after O2ing, which, you know, as you usually do when you O2 an event, you feel kind of bad. But, like, both of my losses didn't feel like I had picked the wrong deck. I lost a match on camera that I just talked about, and then I punted horrendously in this unwinnable game 3 versus Reanimator in round 2 that I will probably think about for the rest of my life, but not losses to like, oh, I picked the wrong deck, I'm just playing against like matchups that are going to be bad for me, D&T's bad, etc., etc. It was just a mixture of like, I played a good matchup and I lost, and then I played badly and I lost again. Stuff like that. And then just D&T turned around and had a very, very good performance despite my very bad performance. So this was definitely a big pick-me-up. AJ talked to me. I talked to him like multiple times during day 2, and he had my sideboard guide printed out, and he wrote like sideboard in good vibes on the back of it. Yeah, I birded Coinman's last round versus Reanimator. Managed to take game 1, which I was very pumped about, because that is not a game 1 you can often win. Keeping the mental is so hard. Keeping the mental in big tournaments like this is very hard. That's why I like snap dropped after like punting really badly, because it's like I could like play it out and try to get like a winning record at the end, but sometimes if your mental takes a devastating loss like that, it's just better to just, you know, walk away. And then I had good side events. I like I mentioned, I had a 5-2 record, losing my win and on Friday in the high roller event. I was 3-0 in the team event. The deck just performed a lot better than I expected it to. AJ was a delight to lose to. Yeah, AJ was really nice. I had never spoken to him. I assume he's not in the Discord or anything, or he would have posted. We went to watch Arcane Theory and B&B, and then you guys got tattoos. I mean, yeah, I didn't have to come along for the tattoos, though. I didn't get one. But we did get to watch the last 3 episodes of Arcane. The field looks pretty diverse. Yeah, I mean, it surprisingly, like, only 4 frogs in the top 8, and, like, not even, like, more vexing baubles than brainstorms, right? 4, 8, 12 brainstorms, right? 15 baubles probably, assuming Rakdos Painter has like 3 baubles. That's pretty stock. Yeah, it's very amusing. Very like brainstorm light top 8, which you love to see. You're chatting with him and he lurks. That's fair enough. I can understand that. That all said, I think I got most of what I wanted to say out of the way. Red White D&T looked really good. It had like I forget, someone did a win percentage breakdown, and then I think Volrath separated Yorion D&T from regular D&T, and then D&T's win rate went up like 4% or something. It had like a 52% win rate or something. I forget what it was. I don't remember at all. 60 card lists were 8 and 20 combined. My god. It's really a wonder that people keep playing 60 card, huh? 52% for Yorion skews over the course of the event. Yeah, that sounds about right. I could go dig up his... You could find that spreadsheet on Blue Sky. I'm sure he posted it there. I think I might have retweeted it, actually. Reposted it? I don't know. They're all tweets. Here we go. Death and Taxes, Yorion, Death and Taxes, 60 card. Yeah, 51% versus 37, 38. 12 and 20, sure. Just never say skeet. Yeah, I'm not about that. I'm not about that life on Blue Sky. I'm just gonna keep calling them tweets. Anyway, D&T had a much better performance than I had expected at all. Was very nice to chat with some of the D&T folks. Wish I could have tracked down Lion and said hi, but I managed to talk to Coinman and AJ. Got a picture with AJ after his top 8. He unfortunately lost at breakfast. We'll go back. We'll go and watch his games. I have the coverage pulled up too. Watch whenever he was on camera. Sad results for fair decks. Although, yeah, D&T. I don't understand how D&T did so good. I'll be honest. I was not expecting this at all. I expected a very middling performance, as D&T always does, but then it just busted out 3 copies, like a top 8 copy, top 16, and top 32. Kind of wild. But this is kind of hell for D&T's future, and we're gonna make some edits. Talk about what I think you can do to try to address this matchup. Besides crying. Enough, kitty. Cut it out. Yeah, fair decks are kind of in a bind right now. Like, outside of D&T, everything, you have to be, like, registering. You kind of have to be registering MH3 cards, like Bobble, Nadu. I mean, Ajani, I guess, but that's really not, like, the linchpin of this deck or anything. Frog, Bobble, Nadu, Frog, probably Frog. I don't know what's in Esper. Yeah, Frog. Dreadnought probably doesn't have MH3 cards. Or, like, besides, like, Consigned to Memory, but random Rhinos player that somehow just found themselves in top 16. Notably, the three top 32 D&T players played 1 match combined against Forge Swiss. Yeah, that tracks a lot. And is the one concession Lions match in the final round where he can literally just conceded? My plan going into this event was dodge Forge. I had no sideboard cards for it, so I'm glad people took that to heart and dodged Forge. Because that is the best plan to beat that deck. But like I said, this is just not a viable strategy. You just kind of need real plans against this deck now, which is kind of a nightmare. Forge can be preyed upon by, like, faster combo and, I guess, Jeskai control. Jeskai control's problem is that it can't really beat anything else. But it's hard it's hard to self-correct like this because there are hammers that exist for this deck, and the hammers are Null Rod, and we will just see an uptick in Null Rods. But it is just a really powerful deck, and now people are catching on to that more. We saw this deck do well in Eternal Weekend Asia. It started picking up online. My plan was that I would dodge it, and now it's going to just pick up more online because it continues to do well. So the plan is not really dodge anymore. The plan is probably register cards like Pithing Needle and Stony Silence and Deafening Silence. Those are probably the only cards that I would play to try to fix this matchup. Is Blue White Consign worth thinking about? I've tried it. It might be worth thinking about now that it I don't know. I hate the blue cards versus, like, every deck besides the colorless decks. Consign's really good, but the rest of the blue cards are just really, really bad is the issue. The blue cards just, like, don't help versus Tempo or Reanimator or Nadu. It's just like you get Consign versus Eldrazi and Forge. So the big problem, I guess, with D&T specifically, not D&T specifically, but especially D&T, is that your sideboard is just so taxed in this format because there are so many really busted decks that require very, very specific answers, like Reanimator and Nadu and Eldrazi and now Forge and, like, It's just you just don't have enough room to sideboard all of this stuff. So you just need to pick and choose your battles and decide like the way I constructed the sideboard. I had decided that I was going to lose to Forge decks, and now that's really kind of off the table. So instead, I'm going to play a bunch of Forge sideboard cards and try to make that matchup at least somewhat palatable in exchange for cutting some of the cards that would be good versus other matchups. Like we're probably cutting a card versus Reanimator. We're probably shaving like a Pyroblast versus Nadu and Tempo and stuff. Like maybe we're cutting this Wrath of the Skies. It's good versus Nadu. Well, this is like an okay Forge card, but like not super exciting. Maybe we shave a Split Up, stuff like that. Like these are probably the cards that are kind of on the chopping block. So importantly, while we do sometimes just have to reach for these like big stupid hammers like Stony Silence and like hope that you can get to a turn 2 and they're good enough, it is important to like try to play cards that are good in versus a matchup that have pretty reasonable applicability elsewhere, which is why I'm kind of zeroing in on Pithing Needle over a card like Deafening Silence. Deafening Silence is like 1 mana Stony Silence light, Stony Silence but worse. Like maybe it's a little bit more applicable, a little bit better versus like Storm, much better versus Doomsday, but it is notably worse versus Forge and like just really really bad elsewhere versus a card like Pithing Needle, which can come in like a lot of matchups. Specifically Nadu, it's very good. You can board it versus Painter. You probably you almost certainly board it in versus like Moon Stompy, stuff like that. There's no way we should ever E-tutor again, right? Like maybe we could. You play like a Blood Moon, Cage, Stony, Needle, maybe like a Deafening Silence and like 2 E-tutors. That seems like kind of miserable. Also, hey Jarvis, how's it going? It's like, yeah, it's definitely not unreasonable to think about. I kind of hate it a lot, but I've never been happy casting Enlightened Tutor, maybe ever in my life. Wrath and Surgical felt the most cuttable. Both feel kind of medium to Battle Day. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think Wrath's pretty cuttable. I think Surgical is your worst Graveyard Hate card. Vacuum's like also kind of bad. Cage is kind of nice because it at least gets to come in versus Forge and brick like 20% of their payoffs or something. They usually have like 4 Karn, 4 Ring, 2 Forge, maybe 3, but like a 1 mana card that can sometimes trade with your opponent's 4 mana card, and not even like trade because they can still like clear off the top of their library and like, help their draws and stuff. But it's not unreasonable. And then Cage also has like applicability versus Nadu, mainly versus like the Nadu Elves deck, the one we saw in the top 8. Split Up was bananas. Yeah, I do like Split Up a lot. It has felt very Battle of Bywater shaped in terms of you get to board it in versus a lot of the creature decks, and it's just like generically a pretty decent removal spell. Let's just, I guess, look at all these lists and find out, huh? 2 Forges, 3rd Forge in the sideboard for Karn. You can probably board it in sometimes too. 3 with the 1 ring in the sideboard. 2 4 with a Forge in the sideboard. There's like one more down here somewhere. Yeah. 4 3 with the 4th in the sideboard. Yeah, that's like what Jarvis is talking about. Oh, it was Bean with 4-3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's Bean. So yeah, differing numbers, but like usually like 3 or 2 or 3. But like anyway, Cage is kind of nice in that regard already. You just kind of need to add to the pile, I think. More Witch Enchanters. The problem is that you just need Forge is gonna kill you if you like, especially Witch Enchanter costs 4 mana. Like even a card like Laron is just really not gonna get there in time. You really need 1 mana cards, but the 1 mana cards aren't that good. So we can kind of reach for these 2 mana cards and hope that they're fast enough, but sometimes they're not even fast enough, especially for a deck like D&T. So like we could, I think the only realistic cards that you can play to help improve your Forge matchup are like Needle, Stony, Deafening Silence are like the only real cards that I would reach for. It's also kind of infuriating because fucking Vexing Bauble means that you can't really board Mindbreak Trap as much. Also, they can like play that deck plays around Mindbreak Trap pretty easily a decent amount of the time, so Mindbreak Trap's not even that good, but the fact that they just get to keep in their like stupid baubles because they cycle, and it means you can't like try to steal games on the draw with Mindbreak Trap or something. But I do think I probably, even if without Vexing Bauble, I don't think I would play Mindbreak Trap against Forge. Yeah, exactly, Coin Man. Not really the matchup for it. You would board it in if you had them in the sideboard, and sometimes you would get them, and oftentimes they would go like turn 1 2 Monolith, turn 2 cast relevant spell, kill you. Hey, Apple Pies, thanks for the raid, appreciated. So if I were to play D&T in the LCQ today, I guess I was going to say this is what I would play, but not 19 sideboard cards, huh? I would say probably cut the Wrath, cut a Pyroblast, maybe cut a Cage since we're getting Needles for the Nadu matchups. If you have 3 cards, this feels like so low though already. Maybe you like have to go to like. Also, hey, Apple Pies, thanks for the follow. Also, GG Guizhou, thanks for the follow as well. You don't really want like 3 turn 1 hate card, turn 0 to 1 hate cards. What is your problem today, Cat? Just leave me alone for like 2 seconds. Go bug your mom. Maybe we just go like 1 Needle, 2 Stony, and we keep the 2 Cages. Wait, what happened to my vacuum? Did I already oh, that's right there. Never mind. I'm done. Yeah. We have 2 Cages and a Needle as like turn 1 hate. Needle's kind of awkward hate though, because you just have to like kind of fire it off blind and just hope you name the right card. Just like cast it, name One Ring or Karn, and hope you hit the more relevant card. Obviously your hand can dictate which one you name. If you have like Skyclave, if you're a little bit less afraid of Karn, if you're like you have like things that can clear it pretty easily and you're okay with them tutoring one thing, you can name the One Ring. Or if you have like spirits, that's pretty much it to deal with the One Ring, stuff like that. Or if you have like a follow-up Stony Silence, you want to go like turn 1 Pithy Needle Karn, turn 2 Stony, stuff like that. And then maybe this is fine. Maybe we do this. Well, I guess we'll cut a Red Blast of a Pyroblast. What did I make here? Monolith? I mean, you don't really want to Pithy Needle Monolith because it still taps. You could Pithy Needle a Key, depending on how it goes. But if I'm just firing Needle off like blind turn 1, trying to play more, like trying to actually survive, I'm likely to just Needle Karn or the One Ring, because that just shuts off so many of their payoffs. And they're not super great at taking it off the board, especially if you Needle Karn. I think the winning list had like sideboard Besejus as like this tech. The winning list is actually, this is like sorted by Swiss, I think. But if you click on here, you don't really get anything. Oh, never mind. If you click on semifinals, you get sorted by Kelvin, who was the person that actually won the whole thing. Disruptor Flute not worth it. The big thing is that like you really want 1 mana cards, and if you're casting a 2 mana card, you just want to cast Stony Silence. Disruptor Flute is good, it's like Pithy Needle, but it has flash and, you know, has text to other matchups. These are all nice things about it, but if I'm casting a 2-mana card and targeting Mystic Forge, I'm just going to cast Stony Silence. Yeah, he's got 3 Boseijus to board in versus like the Null Rod, and you can Karn for Portable Hole and cast it through Workshop, or not Workshop, through Nexus. Some of these other lists I think only had like Static Prisons, Portable Holes, stuff like that. This one really doesn't have a plan to beat Null Rod. It's just kill you. Which is also an issue that, like, you can cast Stony and then just die. You want Stony plus, like, removal, Answers for Urza Saga, pressure, stuff like that. You don't just want to cast Stony on turn 2 and it's like, haha, your deck's turned off. Because, I mean, that is kind of technically true, but they can still kill you pretty easily sometimes. Depending on how their hand works out. But I think I would probably play something like this. You just need stuff like Stony and Pithing Needle and Grafdigger's Cage. We get to board in. This is like a 6-card sideboard for the matchup. Maybe you board in Split Ups. What do we cut in this matchup? Your creatures are like never dying, so you can just cut all the formal wares and the sash. You just want Cauldron or Chainsaw. Cut the Mother of Runes. That's why the naughty person died in the finals. The Mold of 4 was tons of oof, but no other pressure. Yeah, exactly. You need to put oof into play and then, you know, cast Natural Order or whatever if you're the elf deck. Of the Secret Lair Magus is out. Yeah, yes, I have them. I played them. They were very cool. So yeah, maybe I might sideboard something like this, I think. All these other cards seem medium to bad. Something like this looks pretty solid. You'd maybe convince me that the second Split Up's better than, like, something. A Flicker Wisp, maybe? Probably not. Maybe a copy of a Johnny. But again, like, the pressure part where you get to go, like, a Johnny Bombardiers and just deal them a bunch of damage, turning that corner is really, really good. And a Johnny Bombardiers was, like, nuts for me all weekend. Something like this looks okay. Issue being that your matchup still probably kind of sucks because that deck is just kind of nightmare-ish for D&T. Wait, did Volrath's thing have the like matchup matrix too? I saw a matrix of matchups posted somewhere. Is this the text version of it? Does this work how I want it to? Oh, I guess. Forge. What is it under in this? Turbo Forge? Mystic Forge? Mystic Forge combo, there we go. I don't even know if this actually works. Mystic Forge combo. 1 in 6. I mean, 7 is not a lot of matches to base anything off of, but oh, 1 tab to the left is the percents. There we go. But yeah, 1 in 6 versus Mystic Forge is not a lot of matches played, but this is about right. I would probably give it a 20%, 30% sort of matchup. It's not good, and I don't know how much playing 3 or 4 sideboard cards is actually going to do for you. Is worse than D-Day. I do think the matchup is, I think, worse than Doomsday. Maybe not worse than Turbo Doomsday, but honestly, might still be better than Turbo Doomsday because, like, at least versus Doomsday, you have, like, some pretty relevant sideboard cards, like Magus, like Rebs. We had the Surgical before we cut it. Stuff like that. Definitely worse than the Tempo Doomsday list. That matchup is, like, not even that bad. They have all these, like, shitty creatures you get to fight instead. Casting Damping Sphere is... Damping Sphere would be nicer if Eldrazi wasn't on the down tick, because Damping Sphere is okay versus the Forge decks, but we just go back to this, like, 2-mana card problem, where if your 2-mana card just doesn't do enough, or, like, anything, because, like, how these games are always going to play out is that you're just going to lose game one because your matchup is horrendous and you have no sideboard cards or like relevant hate cards. You can sometimes steal your game ones. You're on the play. You get like a spirit that they can't, and then they keep like a one ring hand. It is a winnable matchup. And then you play game two, and you have your sideboard card. You're on the play. You mulligan in your turn two Stony Silence or whatever, and you lock them out, and you beat them up with your creatures or whatever. And then you get to game three. You're always going to be on the draw in the game three because we're always losing game one. You get your 2-mana sideboard card in. You draw your Damping Sphere, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna get them. And then they go turn one, Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna play my land. And they go turn two, the One Ring or whatever, and you're like, okay, turn two, play Damping Sphere. Now your Ancient Tomb taps for 1 mana instead of 2, and like your successive spells are taxed, and then they cast a Voltaic Key and untap their One Ring and draw 5 cards, and then like you're still dead. You want your 2-mana play to do a lot, right? That's the big thing, because you're gonna need it. If you're gonna put a 2-mana card in your deck versus this deck, you need it to really carry you because you're going to need to cast it on the draw when you're behind. It doesn't lock the new lands. It like makes them tap for 1 mana, which doesn't matter when they've gotten to tap them twice already. Yeah, ironically, Damping Sphere is only playable in Ancient Tomb decks. Yeah, it's much better when you're casting it on turn 1. Anyway. I think I've said my piece about basically everything with regards to D&T. All that said, I don't know if I'm going to play D&T tonight. It would be nice to not play D&T specifically because if we play Moon Stompy instead, then I have more time to watch. I think Void Mirror kind of sucks for similar reasons. Void Mirror is also not great because they have like 8 outs that you can't interact with, right? If they like, it does reduce them to like stop casting like 1 spell per turn if they have just like a Opal or whatever. But if they just like have a Nexus in play or an Opal in play, then your Void Mirror just doesn't do a whole lot. And then like if everyone copies the literal winning list that a sideboard Boseiju, they can also like literally cast like they can just play the Boseiju and use that to cast some of their 4-drops sometimes. It's not bad. It's definitely much better than like a Damping Sphere would be. But once we get to that point, it's like, what is Void Mirror doing for my sideboard that that Stony Silence isn't? It feels like it has a similar matchup spread where it's really good against like 0-mana artifacts and Forge combo and nothing else. I guess Void Mirror's better versus Eldrazi, but like not by a huge margin. That deck also has a lot of colorless or a lot of like colored things. Maybe not a lot, but they've got Petals, they've got Caverns, they've got maybe something else in the mana base. It's killing the Rhinos player stuck at the A2 bracket. Yes, that is true. It is much better against Rhinos than Stony Silence is. Better against Omniscience. But most of the Sneak and Show decks are not Omniscience, I think. I don't actually know the answer to that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. They're still on 2 Omni? Maybe the one player that we played against that was on 0 Omni was just a fluke. But also, like, I'm not really teching for the Sneak and Show matchup. I think the Sneak and Show matchup is pretty decent with D&T regardless. Here, Max. I think this is the highest Sneak and Show list. 1 Omniscience. I might have skipped over a Sneak and Show deck. I wasn't looking super closely. Yeah, Void Mirror, much better when you're casting on turn 1. You cast your Void Mirror into the One Ring, and you're like, well, they're gonna draw, 6 cards or whatever. And hopefully they don't find a colored source. I think you, just want to cast, Stony Silence. Have you tried just playing Tombs in red-white? I've thought about it. I've always shied away from it because I don't think Tomb actually, casts anything helpful for you, usually. You want to cast, Spirit of the Labyrinth. Casting Magus the Moon on turn 2 off Ancient Tomb is not very good because you lock yourself out of white mana. casting Bombardiers on turn 2 doesn't do a lot because it's unlikely that you have something to throw necessarily. You could have like Solitude. You don't really want to throw a turn 1 Violaramom. It casts like Solitude a little bit ahead of schedule, but it's not really the reason you would play it. It casts like a turn 2 Recruiter, but that like gets you a turn 3 Magus maybe. Like more consistently gets you to a turn 3 Magus when you have like hopefully the basic planes for the Recruiter of the Guard. I have considered it, but it's also just like I don't want to cut. Like I don't even know what land I would cut to make room for Ancient Tomb. You'd have to cut like a basic planes or something. And then that is all to say, like, you try to like draw your 1 Ancient Tomb in your 80 card deck to pair with the 1 Null Rod that you're also playing now, which is just like very, very, very Hail Mary, like get super lucky. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty different for Goblins versus D&T when you're like a base red deck. And like not really. You're less of is Goblins less of a 2-color deck than D&T is? Maybe not. This is like not a very red deck at all. And Goblins is like a munitions expert plus the other thing. The sack guy. Sling Gang. 5 black cards. Yeah, it's actually kind of close then. But then then we get to like your hate cards are better, but we could play 2-mana hate cards, but then you don't want to play 2-mana hate cards because the likelihood of you drawing your tombs is just not high at all, and you'd rather just more consistently cast 1-mana cards, stuff like that. Have you thought about Enduring Innocence? These are not matchups that I would think about at all, Carlo. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm playing against a hard control, D&T is so ecstatic to play against control decks. Enduring Innocence doesn't solve any problems that I want it to. Not a card that's very good versus, Reanimator or Eldrazi or Mystic Forge. Maybe this is a Yorion problem. Yeah, the usual Yorion problem is solved by just sideboarding more aggressively towards the decks you want to be. That's always been the thing. I don't think we want to like improve the quality of the sideboard cards. I think you just want to make it more likely that you're going to cast them, which is not play Ancient Tomb and try to pair them with the sideboard card. It's just, play more of them. But that's kind of the problem with Legacy right now, is that there's just so many decks that you want pretty good sideboard cards for. Turn 2 Formaware, your turn 1 Mom that died. True. Turn 1 Surveil land, your card into the graveyard, your whatever creature. Turn 2 Formaware back. But yeah, like Tomb doesn't accelerate Lion Sash versus Reanimator doesn't really get you to turn 2 because it's like 1 white doesn't accelerate like a Containment Priest. You would just want to play colorless cards. Like you'd want to play like a Chrome Mox because Chrome Mox could accelerate you into like turn 1 Spirit or turn 2 Lion Sash, hold up the white mana. Casting turn 1 Stony Silence off of a Chrome Mox is not very good. I'll say that. But D&T's like all of it, like you'd get white mana to turn 2 your Magus of the Moon because you could pitch a white card, stuff like that. Like the play patterns that you would want with Ancient Tomb seem like look a lot more appealing if it's a card like Chrome Mox, but obviously they're not the same card, right? Ancient Tomb you can just play as a land. But Chrome Mox, takes card advantage. Can't really just slot it in 1-for-1 with lands all the time. Talking Jarvis made me think about Revoker. I think Revoker is... I mean, it's just the 2-mana thing, right? ...2014. Yeah, 2014 D&T probably is better versus Keyring. You have Thali in your deck, which isn't Well, you'd much rather have Spirit of the Labyrinth in your deck than Thalia, but like Thalia's like fine versus the deck. Revoker's fine versus the deck. You need more consistent like Wasteland Rashad Port. The deck is very mana hungry, and sometimes you can get him with just like mana denial, right? Consigned to like now we're talking about different splashes again. I've said my piece on the blue splash. We could play it to like try to beat Mystic Forge, sure. It's just like not very good against the rest of the stuff. Maybe we can go back and look at blue white D&T and like try to solve the issues it has against like Nadu and the blue decks, but god, I'm not interested in that at all. I'm also like not going to be playing that much Legacy after this, so probably a problem to solve for someone that isn't me. Anyway, we have 13 minutes, so with all this said, let's maybe just not even play this deck and just kind of shoot our shot with a very loosely tested Moon Stompy list instead. How do we feel about this? What if we just did this? Ow! God dang it, kid. Fuck. You're getting out of here. Stabbed me in the knee jumping on me, and then I banged my knee against the desk after she stabbed me. Sorry, headphone users, I have no idea how loud that was. Fuck. Exploding kitten slide. Exploding knees, god damn it. Anyway. Only a single 8-cast player. That deck is, yeah, that deck's super dead. But this is an idea that's was all mine and definitely not Goblin Lackey's idea. Patrick, I hate you. I hate you for this. You have successfully redeemed Let Dog back in. I hope you feel good about yourself. Why did I make that a channel point reward? Door's open. She'll be in shortly, I'm sure. But anyway, stole this from Goblin Lackey, putting Karn back in mono red, back to the like, actual like red mono red prison style, where you just play like 8 Blood Moons and main deck Ensnaring Bridges and Karns, and like that's how you win. If my Moon Stompy decks are good for a third time, do I get a prize? Sure. If we 5-0 today, if we play this list to 5-0 today, I will send you 20 tickets as payment for your good ideas. The One Ring is way too OP to not be in this deck. The thesis of this list is that A, you don't want to put One Ring in your Ensnaring Bridge deck for obvious reasons. B, Karn is your One Ring shaped card, and I'm pretty sure I definitely want to cast Karn more than I want to cast One Ring versus combo, and I'm pretty sure I'd rather cast Karn than One Ring versus tempo right now. And how many other matchups do you really care about? Like, One Ring is much better in the Stompy mirrors, but I think Karn is better versus tempo and combo. So like why do I want, like, obviously One Ring's a really busted card and everyone's putting in the Ancient Tomb deck, yada yada yada, but its chances are really good enough. It's a Karn. You get a Karn for it. Mostly it is a situation where you have Karn versus Null Rod and you can't you have like Karn Bridge versus a Null Rod and you can't just like lattice them or you'll lock both players out. You can like plus on the Null Rod and chainsaw it down and stuff. It's just a Karn. It's a Karnable removal spell. You can play that, or you can play like Sky Sovereign is a classic one, but I think 2 mana is better than like the being able to plus on it or whatever. She'll settle if you let her. She doesn't settle though. She like, just drools on me, which I also don't want. But this is a very rough draft. I had like 2 4-1s with this yesterday. Yeah. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by a bunch of stuff like this. I also didn't redeem OK's talk trash about Luminarch Aspirate. Just remind me to do that in a second, but we have like 9 minutes. I want to get through all my thought processes. And that's like, Ensnaring Bridge actually seems okay to me. It's a very finicky card, but there are a lot of decks that are like not stone cold to it, but it does like buy you a lot of time. I found it a little bit awkward. I misplayed with it when I was playing versus Tempo in a league yesterday because it's obviously very awkward versus the Tameo Frog Nethergoyf deck where they have a lot of control over the size of their graveyard and, you know, obviously very bad against Tameo. But like they can exile their whole graveyard with Frog and then attack with like 0/1 Nethergoyfs and like fetch and cast an instant or something and like try to deal burst damage that way and stuff. But it's really nice versus the Stompy decks. I didn't really want, like, it's obviously good with Karn because Karn's a card that you want to protect for a couple turns to, you know, actually win the game with. It's really good at, like, locking out. The show and tell lists are, like, very cold to it right now. The Moon Stompy lists are literally cold to it. No, they have, like, Pyroglyph. They can Pyroglyph through it, but... And they have, like, 2 copies of Fiery Confluence and sideboards and stuff. But generally speaking, Ensnaring Bridge can buy you enough time to, you know, draw your end game card, which is either Karn, or you can, like, Fable. You can usually set up, like, flip Fable plus Bombardiers and just, like, draw 2 cards, attack with, like, 3 Bombardiers or something, and lethal them versus that way. The red Stompy decks are cold to assist the red Stompy deck. Yeah, but we're a red Stompy deck that has a different win con. But anyway, more than all of that, it is not a hard lock card. Many decks have outs to it. The blue decks have Brazen Borrowers. The Nadu decks have a bunch of things that can take it off the table before, you know, killing you. Like I said, the Moon Stompy decks have Pyroglyph. The Eldrazi decks have Fleshraker, I guess, and then sideboard Wastecape Battle Mages or whatever. But the more important thing is that the threats of Moon Stompy are so fucking terrible lately that, like, the way Moon Stompy wins is by casting the One Ring and just drawing, like, 8 of them and just, like, we're not casting, like, Goblin Rabble Masters anymore. Like, these... I'm also, like, kind of a big Pyroglyph hater, but, like, I get that people keep playing it and it's, like, pretty good, but I think if we try to go back to a, like, Karn version of this list, you'd rather be a deck that is actually like a prison deck and prevents your opponent from taking game actions for a few turns, and then you get to, like, cast your Karn and win the game that way, rather than trying to present something to, like, try to pressure your opponent down, like a Goblin Rabble Master or like a 4-mana Pyroglyph or whatever. I think it's mostly that Ensnaring Bridge and Karn pair fairly well together and kind of do the same thing, or kind of, like, encourage you to do the same thing. And, like, maybe that means I also want to cut Broadside Bombardiers, but I couldn't really think of a card that was better in that slot. You, like, maybe play Pyroglyph, you play Chandra, that's a good card with Ensnaring Bridge, but it's also not a good card, so probably not. Anyway, I mostly wanted to fire this off because I didn't really want to play D&T into a prelim or a LCQ that I expected to just be a bunch of Forge players. Do you want Trinisphere in here? Probably not. You could, like, I mean, it's not very good at Vexing Bauble, but... It's a colorless card, which does start taxing Fury Chrome Mox. Like, you could maybe just cut Broadsides for Trinispheres or something, but Trinispheres just... Maybe, I don't know, I just kind of hate Trinisphere. Just always does. It's like every time I try to put, I don't think you want to Trinisphere for the sideboard like it's a Karn card, because I think Karn's just, like, shutting off most of the combo decks anyway. I've thought about Chalice, honestly, like, because you kind of, like... One of the issues with Karn, now that you're not a Chalice deck, is that they can, like, sit there and cast a bunch of cantrips and, like, get to the win that way. So if you, like, play Karn behind a bridge and you can't get to the Microsynth last stage of the game, you can at least, like, wish for Chalice and put Chalice on one. We could even be, like, a Vexing Bauble plus Chalice deck. Maybe that's the play, but that's, like, a suspicious amount of colorless cards. Anyway, this list is mostly theory crafted. I don't expect to actually get super far in the showcase. Or not the showcase, the LCQ. But I wasn't really vibing with D&T despite its, like, very good performance. So I kind of just wanted to fire off this bullet. It would also just finish its rounds very quickly, so we can go and watch some matches of D&T on that got featured at Eternal Weekend. And also, it's an LCQ, so if I take a loss, we might just end the stream early, you know. But anyway, fast Karn kills a lot of decks these days. Yeah, that's the big thing, is that the thesis of this deck that may or may not be correct is that, like, Karn is really messed up, and this is like maybe a decently built Karn deck. I also kind of wanted to try like a mono white Stompy deck that had Karn, but every time I build a mono white Stompy deck, it's terrible. So like maybe I should stop trying to do that. But if you just play like Bobble, Plow, Solitude, Karn, I don't know. The issue is that like the mono white hate cards are also bad, and you could play like if you want to play the stupid card that I also hate, Suppression Field. It's just really bad in your Karn deck for obvious reasons. Fable the Mirror Breaker is like the best Stompy card ever printed, and that's just not a card you can replicate at all. So I don't know. Maybe we'll try that in the future, but I don't know. Suppression Field is very good against like Forge and Nadu, but anyway, let's play this in the LCQ that starts in 1 minute. Oh, hang on, getting baited. What did I name this deck? Something Lackey. Did I start with L? Oh no, it's S. Stealing Lackey's ideas again. With the enchantment that deals a D6 damage when people play non-creature spells. I've tried that in Moon Stompy before. I've not been impressed with it. 1 RR is a hell of a cost. I typically treat 1 red spells as like basically 4 mana in this deck. But like maybe you can like use it in tandem with Ensnaring Bridge to get people that way. Alright, now about how Aspirant... Alright, you get 50 seconds on Aspirant flipping the Forge matchup. Like... I don't even know how to run this, huh? Aspirant just... such a fucking embarrassing Magic card. I remember when people were casting it like Vintage off of Moxen, and even then, this might be a repeat one, honestly, but like, people aren't even casting it in Vintage anymore. Like... I actually saw some, like, we were digging through the pins on the D&T server, and I had a pinned rant about how fucking bullshit, like, please stop asking about Luminarch Aspirant. This card is not Legacy power level at all, because it was probably back in the Darkview days specifically. Like, my god, that card is just not at all playable. There's so many better cards you can cast for 2 mana. Oh, we're playing against the Oops All Spells guy. Chotin. Oh. Well, this is probably his deck list. Well, we lost the die roll, so that's incredibly bad for us. You really want to win the die roll to win this matchup. Yeah, Shoten has been on tear with this deck. I talk a decent amount. Well, we have, like, turn 1 Karn, so, like, if he doesn't literally turn 1 me, it's pretty good, but obviously that can definitely happen a lot. Anyway, I talk with Faulted Form a decent amount, or I guess I listen to Faulted Form talk a lot, and he kind of hates the way that Choten has built this deck. Well, my opponent has kept 7, so we're dead. Decks that can win on turn 1 should auto lose the die roll. Would be nice. Society if, huh? Tapped, 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 tapped. You know, I really didn't think we were gonna get this far. Alright, well, I guess I go get my Tormod script, huh? Step 2 is don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this. It's just... Okay, he's passing. So we just chainsaw the Informer. Does he have Reanimate in here? He has one copy of Reanimate. They have one copy of Reanimate. We could needle it, but I want to get it off the board so I can go get a, I guess we could also just get Cage. Stone Brain? No. Prove me wrong about Chainsaw Game 1. Oh god, I'm so stressed now. Does Stone Brain not win? I don't think so, right? I just get Poxwalkered. I just get Poxwalkered plus memory. Like, what do I name? You name Poxwalker? I feel like I could... Then there's not enough creatures to dread return. Oh god, I'm so stressed. There's only one narc. This is all true. We do have a Tormod's Crypt in play. Important to think about. So we could just like Crypt Memories Journey. And then I don't think we can lose or like we could just needle the Informer and play second Karn and plus it. How do you ever lose if you needle? Let them kill Karn, play second Karn. I mean, I'm just gonna needle and cast second Karn and plus it, and then I don't think we lose, right? Plus goes up to 6, they attack it down to 4, we minus it to... We can't minus it to 2 and beat the Informer, though. Technically speaking. We could also just get Cage. Cage also wins. Maybe it's just Cage plus second Karn plus, I think? We spent way too... We're playing as Oops, we're fine. I'm really stressed about... Because I kind of want to... We have a chance to win. I think it's just get Cage, play second Karn plus second Karn. It goes to 6, they attack it, then we chainsaw it. And now we have a Karn at 2, I guess. Opponent's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm doing the thing that I always hate when it happens. Is like tank, best possible. I'm really just... Blanket's Oops stresses me out. Because, like, these decks are built in such weird ways that, like, I don't want to die to random bullshit. Can't wait to die Hardcast Oracle. God damn it, why'd you say that, Lackey? Now I'm going to be stressed about that happening to me. Oh, no, we can't. They don't have blue mana. We have a Karn. We, like, literally can't die to that. Spirit Guide. There's no mana morph. I'm looking at the deck list. There's no ways to produce blue mana. Oh, no, there's a Jack-o'-lantern, which can be activated through Karn to make 1 blue mana. There's no... whatever the stupid thing that turns green, the green-red hybrid card. And there's only 1 Jack-o'-lantern. They can only make 1 blue mana. Yeah, no wild Cantors. Why were we thinking his upkeep? Was he thinking about activating upkeep? That seems insane. Karn goes to 4, and we can minus Karn to get Ensnaring Bridge or Chainsaw. That does nothing. It can't be tapped. That's fine. crazy how much Jack-o'-lantern has added to Oops. That is true. It's kind of fucked up. Seven mana max. So even if this is like Poxwalker, we're fine. Oh shit, nice. Pretty nice immediate vindication of card over rig, huh? Yeah. That was the thesis. Oh, that's true. Thank you. Can you remind me in like after this match to put the deck list on the overlay? I'll put it on Steam Deck, Stream Decker, and Flex Slot. Is there any reason that they would shock this in? Not that I can see. There's nothing with flash. I think I just chainsaw this Undercity Informer and say go. I can't also. I could also Sundering Eruption, but I kind of want to make dudes. Maybe I shouldn't. I should just. I could just get. Like, get Lattice or something. I'm thinking too much. We should just chainsaw. We're good. We can win this game. We're fine. I could Sundering Eruption a land if I really want to, but I'd rather make blockers anyway. So we will just pass. If Soken's was Den of the Bugbear, you can do it just. I'm not putting Den of the Bugbear in my deck that wants to cast Karn the Great Creator on time. Also, we couldn't, right? It would come in. It would come in tapped because this City of Traders is in play. Like, I literally only have this option with Sokenzen and not Den of the Bugbear here. Our opponent still seems to still be here. I mean, they could, like, try to win with, like, idiot beatdowns and stuff. I think I'm pretty safe from idiot beatdowns. Especially because we have Sokenzen for, like, chump blocks. We could, like, plus on Chainsaw and hold up Sokenzen. Okay, no, they gave up. Poxwalker does have haste. Poxwalker does have haste? No shot that thing has haste, right? Yeah, no. It comes into play... It comes back from the graveyard tapped, and it has Death Touch. Oh god, I'm so stressed. I think this is a Pyroblast matchup, right? Because Pyroblast counters Memory's Journey, so like Pyroblast plus Macabre works the way you want it to. Icarid Brain, yeah, 3/1s that come back from the graveyard. If it had haste, it would be Box Runner. Get these fucking Furies out of here, damn. Probably get these Bridges. Bridge is, like, there are 2 therapies in this deck, so Bridge isn't realistic to stop, like, the beatdown plan. If you have, like, Macabre to stop the combo, and you have, like, Bridge to stop you from getting punched by Poxwalkers. I think these cards all come in. I do think also that some number of these, like... Karn bullets should come in. I don't know which ones. Definitely not Crypt, because Crypt you want to be able to cast your 4-mana Karn and go get a thing that disrupts them. I think it's pretty rare you Karn for. Yeah, Flute's a good one to board into. Like, I have Flute in the sideboard. I usually don't Karn for it. It is just a card that I get to board in, and sometimes you Karn for when it's nice. But I will board this in a lot because the needle is there as the, like, Pithing Needle actual effect. It's possible even the needle comes in, and we wouldn't actually try to get it very often. Maybe even the cage comes in, but the Tormod script stutters them to a stage that hopefully you can cage afterwards, which is nice, kind of like what happened in that game there. So I think that's fine. I think the Stonebraid in the sideboard's fine. Maybe not, because this is such an expensive play versus if you just draw it, you can just do it for 4 mana and name, you know, like Poxwalkers or something. Yeah, maybe this is the choice, huh? We just do this, I think. Maybe is Bridge better than Broadside Bombardiers? I think it might be to not die to idiot beatdowns. I think I'm going to submit this. Probably 2 to brain anytime they cast Memory's Journey and pass the turn. Didn't think of that, but usually pretty fine. Assuming you're not, like, if you get to that stage, what does that look like that we've gotten to that stage of the game? I guess you Karn for, you Karn for Crypt, and then they go off, and then they Narc Trigger on the stack, you sack the Crypt, and they cast Memories Journey response and get back 4 Poxwalkers. And then Memories Journey resolves, and then you have a Karn versus 4 Poxwalkers, and they shuffle in like Thoracle plus whatever. They can't actually clear the Karn, so you do have that moment to minus for something. But I think then you die to the Poxwalkers before, like, even if you get to minus and go get Stonebrain, you're just gonna die to the Poxwalkers, right? We're just mulliganing this for obvious reasons. My opponent has kept 7. If you remove a card from their deck, I think they deck first. Maybe? I guess depends on how many if they shuffle in 3, you die, right? Mulligan this too. It's also bad. Do we keep this on 5? Probably not. Probably just mulligan for like a Spirit Guide plus Reb plus Macabre hand. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, yeah. I mean, we're just. Oh no, we have 4 cards. Do I just mulligan again? Do we just like go to game 3 and hope for better hands? Probably. That's probably the play, huh? Like, Small doesn't even do it post board because there's Ancient Crutch in the mix. Keep City, Flute. What's the last card I keep? Karn? No, I want to keep Magus, I think, over. I mean, I'm just going to die on turn 1 or whatever. It's fine. Anyway. Playing versus All Spells with a deck that can actually City Flute. That might be better. I'm not sure. I just wanted to like cast Flute and then have a threat was my thing. There's not a lot I can cast with the second City besides like drawing one of the 3 Karns that are left in my deck, right? It's okay. My hand is Pyroblast, Very Macabre, Simian Spirit Guide. That doesn't even win, does it, right? No, it... With the Narc Trigger on the stack, you just exile, like, Thoracle plus... you exile, like, Narc plus Memory's Journey or something? Or no, Narc... What? Yeah, I think Thoracle plus Narc or something like that. I don't know. I really didn't think I'd get this far. Well, Is Vexing Bauble better than Disruptor Flute? Probably not. They have 5 cards in hand. Bauble protects Flute from Force of Vigor. They need 5 mana to go off. I feel like I'd rather play Bauble first. Maybe I'm insane. Just gonna make a bunch of power and kill me if I Bauble, right? They just like go off. But Disruptor Fluid doesn't stop them from going off either, right? Because they can cast Memory. If they have the extra mana, they can just cast Memory Journey and make all. I'm just gonna cast my spells. We're on a mold of 3. We're gonna fucking die. It'll be fine. Hey, okay. Thanks for the Prime sub. Just name Informer. Just maybe. Yeah, maybe shoot for the 50-50. Maybe that is the play. That's probably the play. It's worse. We cast an upkeep, which would stall a turn versus Force of Vigor. I think my plan is to go to game 3 where I'm on the play and have a better chance of winning. If I'm being real. But yeah, I do think probably just upkeep Disruptor Flute. Tap, 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 dang. Seems like we're dead. I guess we need to see the deck too. Okay, we would have died. Yeah, they have the extra green mana, so they can Poxwalker for a bajillion. Oh, I guess they also have the extra green mana, so they can just Ancient Grudge my Vexing Bauble and literally kill me. Huh. They would play into 1 Spirit Guide, 2 Spirit Guide, 3 Spirit Guide, 4 Spirit Guide. Yeah, they would play into Fairy Macabre if they Ancient Grudged, though, right? Wouldn't I just like win if I had Fairy Macabre here? And I just like Macabre to the Thoracle and the. Oh, they have the thing in hand, so no. They have Memory Journey in hand. Duh. Don't understand the sideboard Dread Returns. Does boarding in 3 Dread Returns beat Fairy Macabre? It doesn't, right? You just target the Thoracle? I guess you get to flash back Dread Return on. Hang on, I kind of want to work that out. Doesn't the deck already beat Macabre? That's also true. There's only 1 Thoracle in here. Yeah, I don't get it. Therapy me. Alright, we'll concede. Dread Return. There are multiple Dread Returns here. I see the 3. It looks like they're exact close. We're gonna die, right? There's Thoracle. Yeah, we have nothing. Alright, cool. 3 Oracle 3 return. There's literally only 1 Oracle. Like, we're missing 2 cards, but there's only 1 Oracle in their list online. Also did board into the Belcher plan. Good to know. Anyway. Wacky deck loading like that really shows how much Surgical does not exist anymore. I don't get the. Is there a way that if you have 3 Dread Returns specifically, is Memory's Journey a same turn kill? You target the Thoracle, they Memory's Journey it back into the deck, they Dread Return, Balustrade Spy, sacking the 3 Poxwalkers, mill the Thoracle again, and then Dread Return again to get the Thoracle? So, like, that's the plan? That doesn't seem very good. Does that mean Pyroblast is bad, though? Because I actually can't. Does Pyroblast do... I mean, if that's their plan to beat Fairy Macabre, then does Pyroblast do anything? Pyroblast helps... We just struck Cage into Flute and the game is over. Do we board in the cage? Probably, right? Did I not board in the cage before? I think we might board in the cage here. That seems wise. Turn 1, Ancient Tomb, Vexing Bauble, Cage. Get him. And we just get rid of one of these Ensnaring Bridges, huh? Or maybe we board out Stonebrain instead, so we can go Crypt into Stonebrain as the plan? I don't know, but sideboarding's so hard. This is why you shouldn't stress test decks in LCQs. Let's hit submit. I would love to be on the play. I mean... Can they beat this? They can't, right? Or, like, obviously you can, like, Belcher me or whatever. Why did I say that? But, like, I think this is a keep. I don't think they can beat this with the realistic avenues to victory. Yeah, we can get to Karn, too. We have 2 lands towards it. I think this is just a keep. This has to be better. This is so good against, like, so much of their deck. I'm just going to they're going to put the combo on the deck, and I'm going to freak out about how to resolve these Fairy Macabres. I mean, I just target the Thoracle and the Memories Journey, and then blast the Memories Journey, and then they die, I think. Or I just, just use the other Fairy Macabre, too. You can also just exile all the Poxwalkers or something. I have a lot of options. Just try to turn 1 me. Come on. Shut up, Lysurg. They don't have that. Dark Ritual. Okay, that's fine. Dude, am I supposed to, like, bolt this land? I'm so scared of dying. There's no world that the second Pyroblast matters, right? I'm playing this tapped. I'm not taking 3 damage. I also think we can beat Pact on the Pyroblast on the journey with second Macabre. Is there a world where Life Totem matters with this hand is textured? Yeah, if they just, like, cast an Undercity Informer and attack me 10 times. That's the world that and then I miss land drops for the next couple of turns. That's the world that I'm thinking about. Just go for it. Just go for the combo. Just cast the fucking the Balustrade Spy. Just kill me. What could go wrong? Come on. I'm so scared. I don't know what it is. My nerves are, like, running so high right now. Just the adrenaline of, like, having a hand that, like, is right on the razor's edge. Needs just a little bit more to beat Oops. Keep 7 in card hand, definitely. Yeah, just go for it. I have 7 cards there, don't even worry about it. We just need to draw Soul Land, please. Oh, thank God. It's just Balustrade Spy. Alright. I think we win. And he choked. Shut up, Laggy. Cut it out. What are you gonna do? Are they thinking about targeting me? That would be... Okay, they target themselves. It's just this bad common from Gate Crash. It's fine. Alright. What do they have? Thoracle. Check. Memories Journey. Check. We just Fairy Macabre them both right now. Then they have 3 cards in hand and nothing. They have... Oh, they have a Lolith Giant. Alright, never mind. We Fairy Macabre the Thoracle and the Lolith Giant. Oh, God. We win here. I just need to make sure that we win here. Because I just Fairy Macabre all the cards that matter, and then blast the Memories Journey, and then we win. I just Fairy Macabre the 2 win cons, and then literally just target the Memories Journey itself with the Fairy Macabre. There's no other thing they can do to kill me or put cards back into their deck. There's Disciple of Freyalise, this draws cards. There's Ancient Grudge that does nothing. There's the Belchers. If we lose to not having second power up, I'll give 10 subs. Spirit Guide doesn't matter. We can counter the Memories Journey. I think I was supposed to... I don't think it matters. Yeah, that's what we deduced, Lysurg, that I think Fairy Macabre, or the 3 draw turns beats single Fairy Macabre in the same turn. Everyone in the tank. I mean, yeah, this is like a very tense moment. This is like literally deciding the game, right? I think target during the journey makes it. Yeah, that's what I just thought about. I think I'm supposed to target one of the win cons on the Memories Journey to force the Memories Journey to go on the stack. Because now I have to target the Memories Journey right here anyway, and then if they cast it and have, you know, cards that I can't beat that I won't talk about, I will just now target the Memories Journey and the... I guess the... I don't think it matters. Ah. Go away. Target the Memories Journey, and it literally doesn't matter the other card that I target, I don't think. I'll just exile up the Narcomoeba, I guess. No, I was supposed to target it first, because then they have to cast it, and that informs my decision. This way I can die to more things, but it's fine. They don't have them. Imagine overthinking it. We did overthink it. I did the wrong... I ended up doing the wrong thing. I was supposed to target the journey with the first one to force them to try to cast it. This is overthinking 101. It's not overthinking if we win. It's the correct amount of thinking. I 100% agree, Lackey. That was my reasoning to a T. Is that we lose to cards that are definitely not in my opponent's hand, but I didn't want to, like, telegraph. I think it's, like, kind of very suspicious to my opponent if I just go land go, bolt in, land go. Hey, Mr. UC, how's it going? Tournament weekend was fun. Didn't do too hot in the main, but I had a lot of fun. Suppose it could also mean flute. Yeah. Don't know what they would do differently if that was the case. Do they just, like, not have... What do they have? Okay, they have the 4th Spirit Guide, sure. If we get Pact of Negation, I'm turning off the stream. Just so everyone's aware of the stakes right now. My opponent casts Pact of Negation, the stream is turning off. After Wonderbro gives me 10 subs. Won't they die to Pact? No, they have the same turn kill that we just talked about. The Memory's Journey, same turn kill. Oh no, they can't same turn kill me because their win cons are all exiled. Yeah. Because usually the same turn kill involves Memories journeying back the creatures and then milling them to the first Dread Return and then getting them back with the other Dread Return. So they actually can't. So they do actually die if they pact. Maybe we don't turn off the stream if we get Pact of Negation. We didn't think that far ahead. We had it. It's all perfect. Been like 5 total turns taken over the course of this match, taking 30 minutes. My opponent's somehow down more on clock than I am. I mean, the nice thing about Moto is that you're free to use your clock at your leisure. Like, the fact that the Oops All Spells matchup is, like, takes, you know, a minute to play a game means that you do have more time to think so you don't fuck up. And then we, you know, still fucked up because it's hard to use targeted Graveyard Hate effectively versus this deck when it's, like, you know, built to beat targeted Graveyard Hate. Do we win? Did we do it? Maybe? I think I've also identified a second very minor misstep. Endurance green card. That would get me. Is that I think I was supposed to target the Cabal Therapy. Not that it matters. It literally can't matter, I don't think, with the information presented, but like there's some insane series where they have like second Memories Journey in hand or something. Then they would just always name Pyroblast with the first therapy, though, right? But then we could have, like, Red Elemental Blast or something, but we can't split because we have Ensnaring Bridges in our deck. You should always name Pyroblast if you had Second Journey. They named Sticker Goblin, respect. LED Echo in hand. I mean, we could potentially win from there. We just draw Ensnaring Bridge or something, right? Do I win? Did I do it? I hate resolving Farum Macabre. This is stupid fucking tech. What if they like named "You Are Already Dead" and then just like fucking killed me from here? I would just lose it. Opponent just saw clocking this. I mean, my opponent's like maybe trying to think about like some. We did it. We won. We weren't even in the last match. Look at that. I thought you couldn't name cards banned in the format. That's like a paper rule that never comes up, but on Moto they don't really have those gates. Anyway, we should post this to Stream Decker. It does have to be legal. That is like the paper rules, but Moto just like the drop down lists don't work that way, I believe. The more I think about it, the more I want to try a Chalice deck in this meta. I think Chalice is like not bad. The issue is that like Vexing Baubles mostly better. They're not super compatible. I had a similar thought. Wait, what? File not found. Am I not? Oh, I'm stupid. I need to give it the deck list. I thought I was saving the deck list. Dang it, I was hoping no one would redeem Hydrate today because this was the only day that I actually didn't have water, but I should just go get a water. I usually have my water, but I didn't bring it into the office today. Alright, it is on Stream Decker. You can refresh to get it. I'm gonna put it on Flex Slot. Aren't they compatible? Well, I mean, like, one's a 1-drop and one stops you from casting 1-drops, right? It's not... You're allowed to put some number of non-bows in your deck, right? Like, Vexing Bulb also doesn't let you cast Chrome Mox or whatever. Create new deck. Karn, Mono Red, Prison. Legacy. Create. Did you miss Eternal Weekend recap? Yes, the Eternal Weekend recap was all at the beginning. I did very poorly in the main event, but D&T did very good. You can also watch my first match on the VODs on the Card Titan VODs. Something that we should be watching, but my Moon and Stompy versus Oops matchup managed to take like 25 minutes. Alright, deck's on Flex Slot, deck is on Stream Decker. We have two more matches in progress. I'm gonna go grab some water, run to the bathroom. If these matches are still playing, we'll watch a little bit of AJ's matches. I'll be right back. Alright, we're hydrated. The next round's starting. We don't get to watch any AJ. Maybe this time I won't have to tank for 5 minutes trying to resolve 2 Fairy Macabres. We are hydrated now, thank you, Mr. UC. Got any of the playpoint codes? That is a good observation, request, inquiry, whatever. We actually have 2 playpoint codes because it's the last stream of the month. And I forgot to give one out during the Saturday stream, I think. I played in the Creator Showdown. So we actually have 2 playpoint codes. Remind me after this round, I guess. Playing against Silent Goat. We lost the die roll against Moon Stompy. Be nice to win a die roll, huh? Unfortunately, like I talked about, the way that I've constructed this deck is that we're kind of a dog to the Moon Stompy mirror. Also, unfortunately, Silent Goat's list specifically is typically going to be the super greedy one with Caves of Chaos Adventurer, which means there are more ways that he can just win through Ensnaring Bridge. And we have 8 Blood Moons and he has like none. This is about as good as it gets though. Turn 1 Fable into Karns. Try to set up like Karn Bridge, get to Lattice. Can you try to improve your die roll and matchup RNG? No, I burned all my luck winning game 1 versus Oops All Spells. I have to lose die rolls for the rest of this event. Consideration for Paragraph to win behind Bridge with Reflection? Not really. Broadside Bombardiers wins similarly shaped games behind a Bridge with Reflection. You can pretty easily like get yourself to 2 cards in hand and like attack with 3 Bombardiers or whatever. Wait, do we turn 1 Karn? Does it do anything, really? Not really. I think I want to turn 1 Fable still. Steal my Goblin Shaman token? That's fun. It's like a mana rock that also makes a treasure token. But then we're just gonna Karn, which seems really good here. So there's no reason to block. Do we Karn plus? Just play around like Fury? Keep it alive? You came back and we won. Let's go. Yes, you missed us sweating a lot in that game 3. We get to attack Haste creatures are fairly minimal. We could get Bombud. That would be unfortunate, huh? Bombardier, throw the Cursed Mirror at the Karn. But then we get to like Bombardier back, and then we're kind of okay. I think we just loot away this Chrome Mox. Keep the rest of this. Local middle is insane here, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's kind of because if we just get like Furied, we just get obliterated, right? If we untap with this Karn at 6, I think we just like if we just untap with the Karn, I think we just win because we just get to Lattice. It's triple Stone Rain. It's triple Stone Rain until we get Furied, and then it's no Stone Rains, right? Could Flute Bombardiers the similar like Fury issue. Also, we have Bombardiers in our hand, so it's like not super exciting to. Like we're playing around Bombardiers versus playing around Fury. Discard this Chrome Mox. Go from there. Oh shit! Hang on. No, we just established we have exactly. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 6 mana, so we can't also Vexing Bubble to play around Fury. Play around nothing, no consequences. Just slam Karn minus for Lattice. Hey, look at that! Why not play Land Bauble? I wanted to save the Ancient Tomb so I could Lattice next turn. I didn't care about getting Furied at that point. Like, I mean, he could pitch Axe Fury to deal 4 to the Karn and slow me down a little bit there, but very specifically wanted to keep the 6 mana point. I was gonna ask why come back to red, but you just answered MTO chat. Yeah, I spent like the first hour before the prelim talking about how cool it was that D&T did super well, and how excited I was to see the deck perform. And then I was like, but also I don't want to play against a bunch of fucking Forge in the LCQ, so we're gonna play this instead. 0 card sideboard. What are you talking about? We're gonna board in some of these Karn things. I think we're gonna board in Flute and Chainsaw. I think that's it. We could maybe board a Needle, but probably not. I think we're just gonna do this. Maybe we're not supposed to board in the Chainsaw, because the whole point of the Chainsaw on the sideboard is that like it's an avenue to beat Null Rod when you have like the Bridge plus Karn semi-lock. But I don't know how much that matters in this matchup specifically versus just being able to, chainsaw a Broadside Bombardiers or a Fury or a Caves of Chaos Adventurer to death. I think this is probably fine. Seems pretty bad, huh? I mean, we have the unplayable red card to pair with the Blood Moon. But turn 1 Bombardiers is not an exciting play. I mean, Bombardiers into Fury, but you really want to hardcast Fury, and this hand doesn't even... This hand has stable mana, but we have so many bad cards, right? We have like 4 Maguses, 2 more... I guess these are our actual only 2 Blood Moons. We boarded out the other ones. Seems hard to mold it. Yeah. It has the... I don't know. All my cards are bad. Lelio would be sick in this deck. We could play, maybe we could play like Lelio over Bombardiers or something. Bombardiers is like, I guess Bombardiers is better when like half your plan is Ensnaring Bridge. If we draw a land, we just don't play Bombardiers in turn. We just go like Mountain Go or Mountain Chromox Go. We have the potential to try to hardcast Fury after we like Bombardiers on 2. Or we could like Bombardiers Pitchcast Fury. Maybe we do keep this. Seems like kind of mopey. Alright, well, that's maybe a reason to cast Broadside. Oh, nice, alright. Well, I mean, not that nice, because we now have to play City out. We could Chromox, pitch both Blood Moons, play Mountain Bombardiers, but then we have to throw one of the Blood Moons, but then we're at 4 mana, which is pretty close to hardcasting this Fury, but I think the better plan is to City, Chromox, pitch Blood Moon, Chromox, pitch nothing, throw the Chromox at the Goblin Shaman, and then have red card plus Pitchcast Fury instead. We'd also just like Dome for 7 right now if we wanted to. That seems ambitious. Feeling we're not winning this game. We draw like Karn. With them having a turn, with him having a turn 1 City start, we could potentially like cheese a win with like Karn turning off the Chromox. I'll draw Karn, play it, plus on the Chromox, untap, grab Coding. Kind of wanted to go turn 1 Mountain, but it's... Yeah, I was going to go turn 1 Mountain, but you kind of really want to kill the Fable token when you can. There's a possibility that, like, I was supposed to play Mountain double Chromox and chuck one of the imprinted Chromoxes and be sitting here with Mountain Chromox and City Fury in my hand instead. It's just like the One Ring. Oh, Pyroglyph. Yeah, it's pretty good. Can't even Fury it now. It's a 4/5. You just die. Just concede time. Do we just die? Concede time? Double Fury down the Fable plus the Pyroglyph. Draw second Bombardiers. Those pass. Top deck Bombardiers would be nice. This is now 9 toughness, which is a very bad number for having 2 Furies in hand. Bombardiers off the top. One-time dealer. Interesting. I guess we'll play on. We're not dead. We can kill both these and then top deck like Ensnaring Bridge or something. Stall out for a little bit. Wait, hang on. Hardcast Fury moment. Puts enchantment in graveyard. This becomes a 5/6. Fury does trade with that. Maybe that's what I have to do. One, two, three. Play land. Pitch Spirit Guide. Puts us down to 2 mana, which is also awful, but I think putting a Fury in play to try to block Pyroglyph is a possibility. Fury pitched Fiery Confluence. Now we're not drawing to a lot. Drawing into land into bridge. And then also there's a Pyroglyph sitting in play, so if my opponent ever draws a second Pyroglyph, we still die. Gotta draw a lot. Alright, well that's not the land. Would have worked out a lot better if we pitch cast Fury, but obviously that's not always going to be the case, right? We'll run it back, I think. Pitch a red card for your Fury, but it's still on the board. True. Simian Spirit Guide just cheats. Oh, nice. The perfect hand to have turn 1 Gemstone Caverns. I think this is just keep turn 1 Fable. You kind of want to play turn 1 Vexing Bauble when you're on the play in these mirrors, because you can shut off your opponent's Chrome Moxen, which is really good sometimes. But I don't know. Turn 1 Fable's also really broken, and we can just loot away the Vexing Bauble instead, which is nice. With 8 damage, I wonder what happens if you just kill Kiki plus Pyro and leave the Bomba. Pitch my whole hand? That doesn't seem super enticing. What's the rationale for that? Well, you have a Fury in play. Well, I mean, they can kill a Fury. Maybe not easily, but I can't block the Bombardiers. A lot of their draws can just kill it. I didn't think I was going to get this far. Do I loot this bridge away? I think I might. Tapped land means fairly reactive hand, I want to say. A little worried about a Fiery Confluence. We could just loot away, like, Gemstone Bauble instead. I'm just gonna, like... I'm taking a lot of damage, but we just play a second Fable. But we could just go, like, loot Cavern Bridge and play Fable. We could also, like, play Fable off the Treasure and not the Sundering Eruption, potentially. Don't loot away this. I think I'm on the front foot enough that I might want to loot away this bridge and try to utilize the Vexing Bauble. I can always just cycle it too. Now we could Chrome Mox pitch the Sundering Eruption so we take less damage and cast Fable plus Vexing Bauble here. This is also nice against Fury. Loot nothing, attack for 4? Say go? I don't really want to play out Bombardiers. Because I don't want to play into a Fiery Confluence. These both the cards in my hand are incredibly good. I could just play Bombardiers, throw like the flipped Fable or something, but I think it's just if I untap, I just am going to kill them. So I don't think I want to like put more things in play. And play like my opponent clearly kept a very reactive hand. If they're going to land go, We could cycle the Vexing Bubble potentially into turn if we want to. Opponent could stall out, you know, with like cards like the One Ring or something, but they start to get to the point where we could... This deck has almost little to no instant speed removal. Wait, are you just dead? What's this about? Moving to cleanup. Huh? I mean, I guess I just play into Dead Gone. If you don't have Dead Gone, you die. 4 Chromox and they held on to. And is all Chromoxes and Furies? Yeah, I guess. Alright, we take those. Got the 2-0. Man, Magic is easy. Hey, we won that game 1 on the draw in the Moon Stompy Mirror. Alright, we got plenty of time here. Let's see if we have not Choten's deck list. But let's watch some D&T get played, huh? Play points. Oh yeah, thank you. Let's watch someone, 2 people even, win 120 play points instead of watching AJ play Magic. Exclamation point giveaway. What's the buzzword today, huh? You just want to do AJ? Sorry, I'm just saying out loud what I'm saying. What I'm about to do. Let's just do AJ. In honor of AJ, top 8 Eternal Weekend with Red White D&T. Please type AJ in the chat. 2 people are going to be selected this time. I have 2 last codes to give away for this month. Get your AJs in the chat. We're about to watch him play. I think he plays. Does he play against Ari Lax here? Yeah, I think he plays against Ari Lax on Painter. This is round 8, round 9. This is round 9. Yeah, this is for like one of 2 undefeated players in day 1. How do I get the audio to you guys? Let me do this while people are still typing their AJs and oh, I didn't. There we go. Play point giveaway. I don't see the volume thing going up. I assume you guys can't hear that. We have audio. It's not just like the audio coming through my mic, is it? Is it like actual audio? Like, it's very low. Okay, it sounds like it's probably just catching from the speakers then. Let me fiddle with some stuff, huh? Properties. Speakers. Okay. What about now?
So far, AJ Franklin on 80 card death and taxes.
Can you hear that?
I relax on technically.
I think you should be able to hear that now.
All right, we're opening things up from AJ Franklin with Fetchland. Ancient
Perfect.
2
Nailed it.
for R relax. Let's see what he wants to do with it. We're going to kick things off now with.
All right, we'll watch this for a bit, and I'll do the play point thing.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron, sorry.
I mean, boy, hard to imagine a better card between
full screen.
2
I can't actually like literally full screen it because I don't actually stream on
the most potent abilities of everything, ranging from a Goblin Welder to a Mother of Runes. You know,
make it
just
bigger.
super.
I also
cool,
wanted to like leave that little
techie
corner so I can
artifact
see
from
when the next
Ari. If
round
that
is
sticks
starting.
around, I think it could be a major player.
C matches in play.
By the way, folks, Ari Lax is
Without
the
chat, yeah, it's
Pro Tour Khans of Tarkir
We don't need to see that
champion
push yet.
nearly
Hang
a
on, I can
decade
just
ago.
get rid of chat.
Not a full-time player anymore, not a Pro Tour mainstay these days, but
How's that look?
certainly in that top echelon of.
I've not been watching this game at all. Looks like you just switched to Surveil Land, Castellani.
Back it up. Cans of Tarkir Pro Tour champion. That's not, mate. That wasn't a decade. What are you talking about? Cans of Tarkir wasn't a decade ago. Cans of Tarkir was released in what was that like? Cans of Tarkir release date.
I think all the AJs are done. Type one last round. Type AJ to win 2 chances at 120 play points. If any last stragglers coming in, type AJ in
that
chat.
was 10 years ago. Oh boy.
And then we will.
Time comes for us
there we
all,
go.
Reject.
Get a couple
What are we doing?
stragglers. And then we will.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it feels
Select
like
the
the last
winners
10 years shouldn't count as a decade because
No, definitely not. I agree. I agree.
Winners are
I feel like we should be able to take a mulligan.
Janky B and
the more recent years.
Mr. UC.
Oh dear. All right, Ajani here.
I played modern.
Play
Congrats.
Come on, man.
Painter
Points.
on the
Let
other
me
side of things.
flip a
Painter
kitty, like he's
for
just so
Arilax.
cool looking.
Janky B. There your play points.
Let's see what AJ wants to do
And
here. With his next
Mr.
turn. Another
UC.
Ajani.
One legend rule. Make a cat. I'll flip this one.
This is going to create a cat
I've
token,
not
and it's
been.
going to result
Nothing's
in
happened
the
this game so
original
far. He's
Ajani
flipping the
transforming.
Ajani. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So sad about his own death that he flips.
You
Yep.
want it all the way out, or just you can flip it all the way out. So it's a
I relax.
3 counter
Sportingly giving his opponent a bit of a hand here with flipping the Ajani over.
with cool cats. Yo,
It's
they
going
don't
to
give a cat.
transform into a Johnny Nikadal Avenger, 3 loyalty to start, +2, put a +1 counter around each cat you control, which that's getting increasingly effective, and then 0, create a 2/1 white cat warrior creature token. If you control a red permanent other than a Johnny, which
so what's happening here?
AJ currently does not, but could
Saga
relatively
versus
shortly, you get to
a
deal
lot of cats.
damage equal number of creatures you control to any target, and
Strangely
then
being
minus
gifted something
4
with
ability that
life by a TNT player.
might at some
what
point
are
come
play
up.
points
Each
if not
opponent
life?
chooses an artifact,
though, if you
creature,
think about
enchantment, and a
it?
planeswalker from among their permanents.
120 play points is like the
Sacrifice
swords to
rest.
plowshares of leagues.
As it is.
Ari
Rover.
is kind of just biding his time.
I'd be a
trying
little
to
terrified in this
assemble
position.
The Painter Grindstone combo.
There's
and get
obviously
his instant
Grindstone
win.
coming down the pipeline.
So
but
all of this power and
fetches,
toughness that
probably
AJ
grabbing
is
planes,
able to put on
planes.
the board is going to do him no favors if he can't effectively
you got some
disrupt
nice
Ari's
basics.
combo.
I didn't actually get to
Did he
see
activate the
AJ's deck at all. Some sicko basics.
He
huh?
created a 2/1 cat token.
Oh, he just zeroed and just obviously didn't do any damage, right? Yeah.
Got Spirit, Recruiter.
Because the
is
first
that a plow?
2-1 was from
Last
the
card
first
plow,
Johnny, the
maybe?
second one from the second, and then yes, he's created a third one. Okay, that makes sense.
You
Here's a
really want a
Recruiter of
red
the
card to pair with
guards
the
now.
Sajani. Although you just get to plus the Sajani next
Recruiter
turn.
of
It's
the guard, another
really
brand
fucked up
new
at the
card.
ult.
So
you probably just get Solitude to stay
just like
alive,
Hounds
yeah.
of Tarkir, very
You
recently
have to get Solitude, obviously,
introduced,
if you don't have if that last card
to
doesn't
the
actually
legacy
plow.
format.
But
Printed
even that, like,
in,
even if your card was
gonna
plow,
test
I think
it,
I'd still
actually.
have
When was it
Solitude here
first
to pair
printed?
with the
That was
Spirit.
20 years ago.
You
Riley.
just plus the Sajani to ult it next turn and
Yeah.
make your opponent sack a bunch of artifacts. Just make a huge
no, I'm
wall of
just looking it up
stuff.
here. Conspiracy printed in 2016
What
here, so it's
your
an
last
8-year-old
card? What's
card.
your
Not a
last
new
card,
card by
AJ?
any means anymore.
9.
Oh,
Alright,
he's just
in come the
sending.
clowns. These cats juiced up by Ajani, and AJ really putting the hurt on Ari Lax.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
This send seems like kind of aggro to me, because
Yeah, so the
Can't
key
Ari, like,
play of this
pressure
turn
the
was Recruiter of
Johnny
the Guard
now?
Finding Solitude.
did you just want to like
which
ult this
threatens
thing?
to exile the Painter's Servant and at least allow AJ to continue playing,
Ah,
since
what have I done?
Urza Saga Chapter 3 can find Grindstone.
Hey, Thindri,
Now,
thanks for the Twitch Prime sub.
What
appreciate
Ari
it.
would love to do is
Actual
use
first time I see a Johnny get
Painter
plus 20. I've plused it a
alongside
fair
his 5
amount.
copies of Red
It's also
Elemental
the
Blast
best
and
to
Pyroblast
plus when
to protect itself,
when you flip it
but
off of another
he
Johnny
doesn't
rather
have
than
any
like
red
flip it
mana.
off
He's only
Bombardiers
drawn
because you
colorless
have
lands
2
so
cats
far.
instead of none.
So Franklin shifts.
I
back
guess you have
over
the
to Ari Lax
Solitude,
now.
so you're not that pressured. Like you can just chump block the construct with the
Instead,
Recruiter if you
we'll
want,
take
and like
two
Solitude the
to- Is
Painter.
this making a construct token here?
I believe so.
Are you supposed to just Solitude the Painter
Now,
now?
EJ, I think, is going to want to pull the trigger on
I don't know, that attack felt
the
kind of
Solitude
Pressuring
before
the
Chapter
H
3 goes
Yeah.
off.
Oh, wow.
because
Ari is an 8.
There's
Maybe that
a
attack
range
is
of things that
good.
could happen.
Maybe I'm just
One,
wrong.
Ari could just put Grindstone on the battlefield.
But if you're going to Solitude the Painter, you
ready
just
to
Solitude the Painter and
respond
then
to
attack.
anything tricky.
Okay, yeah, he's got Plow.
Oh, this is actually great news
Oh,
for
got a sword.
AJ that he had the Swords to Plowshares in addition to the Solitude.
Yeah, I would have.
So
So just like
yeah, he's gonna
not
ruin
think about the fact that Painter was
Ari's
2-4 maybe.
creature-based combo
Otherwise, you
here,
just Plow
and
Painter and then send, right?
this is what Death and Taxes does. You try to take away your opponent's most potent angles of attack, and then leave behind the value. And you know, if your opponent can't combo off, then suddenly they have to sweat these 3/2 cat tokens and this Recruiter of the Guard and this.
And now if
Planeswalker
he
that can
makes, if
ultimate,
Ari makes another construct,
and,
you just get to ulti a
suddenly
Johnny
the
and
game
make
became a
him
lot
sack
more difficult for
either
Ari.
both constructs or like
And the
more
painted
likely
decks do
construct
have
plus
other ways to
Agathos or
win the
something.
game, right? Like there is the Goblin Welder path. There
Because
are
the Giant
other
Bolt's just really,
threats
really
that
threatening
the
here.
painted deck can bring to bear. But that's difficult to do when you're facing just a little white weenie beatdown. And this is the other aspect of Death and Taxes, right? It provides.
Oh, and the
disruption,
thing
it
you
provides
get off
these
of
hateful
the
cards
Saga
that
too.
do a
So
lot of
Johnny is like
work,
really fucked up here.
disrupting what your opponent's.
Plus, it also
trying
makes
to
it
do.
immune to
But also,
Fury.
these cards all turn sideways and
Immune
chip
to
in for
dying
damage.
Fury,
And
at
Ari's on
least.
8. This is not a huge life total, and he's going to have to find a way to get
And you
himself
still just have like
on a
Solitude
steadier
plus
footing
white
if he
card in
wants to try to win
hand
this
as
game.
leftovers. This is just a great
Beat life,
position.
and not for nothing, his main mana source is Ancient Tomb. So, you know,
Split in the dream.
presuming that he can't win the game right now,
You get
how many more times can he you know, how many
Opal,
more
Petal,
turns can he really
Bobble?
play at any level of efficacy?
I used to play lands. Painters are much worse for lands. This one's a little bit better. 2 cards remaining? Yeah.
I'd be feeling pretty
Okay, Ari here.
ahead
This is
here.
a third chapter of
Opal.
Opal,
there's a
maybe
saga
try to like
resolving. It's gonna
hard
get
cast
Mox
a
Opal,
Fury.
which is not active as it stands right now. Metalcraft
It is active.
is. Oh no, sorry, it is. It is.
There's one construct in play
Yeah, I got
currently.
Soul Cauldron, the construct, and the Opal providing
You have like
Metalcraft.
Mountain or something, Fury,
And a
deal
City of Traitors,
deal
land
some to the
for Ari
Ajani.
this turn. What's he got? It's got to be something special here, Reed.
No double.
Fury
right now,
would be a
though.
nice one.
5.
The Mox Opal does unlock red mana, but since Painter's gone, Red Elemental Blast is no longer effective.
Oh. Oh, the floating colors too.
Okay, instead, this is a Phyrexian Devourer.
You are allowed
Now,
to
this is a
cast,
properly
but
ancient card.
I think Ari's
Yes.
will
All
just
agree
get
on that.
obliterated by this Ajani.
No doubt about that. Phyrexian Devourer, 6 mana, 1/1. When Phyrexian Devourer's power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it.
Attack
Remove
Ajani,
the top card of your
block,
library from the game.
snap off.
X
Oh,
plus
attack
1 counters on
face?
it, where X is the removed cards.
Was that
mana
face?
cost.
So there are no blocks. This is getting activated.
So what's the goal here? Is
Yeah.
Ari trying to deplete his own library?
2,
Wait, what's happening? Why are we doing this right now?
3.
We're going to find out here.
This is 5.
Yeah.
6. So this is gonna die, and I'm gonna exile it to
Oh,
And
okay.
then, okay, so
To the
so
target.
it's now
I
exiled
see.
to
And then
the
in response to the counter, you just solve it.
Soul
It's going to
Cauldron.
exile, so this is on the
You exiled it, and then you have a reflexive trigger to target the creature, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so you targeted this. It doesn't. have a
There's
counter on it.
some
I will solve
combo
it.
nonsense going on
Yes.
here.
Okay, that's good.
And then he just concedes. Okay, yeah.
Just
Just
a-
was hoping that
But it's not going to be enough,
AJ's
whatever
last
the
card was
case
not,
is here. I don't
Soul
think
was not.
or is this an?
That he
oh,
didn't see
I'll be
the
honest with
Devourer
you,
line, and also
I don't-
there's the last card was not.
I don't know who won that game.
Because if you
Okay,
even if you
so-
didn't have the white card, you could just block it.
The idea there is to get the Phyrexian Devourer in the graveyard so that it can give its ability to another creature with
Fair enough.
Agatha's
Play your
Soul
outs.
Cauldron. And since the other creature
Looks
that
great, though.
gains
That's
the
a
ability,
game.
The original +1/+1 counter.
Oh,
was
there's
put on
the-
the
there's my
with
sideboard
Soul
guide.
Cauldron activation. 'Cause that-
Sideboard
'cause
guide
the-
vibes.
The construct doesn't have a counter on it initially and can't
Oh, yeah.
use the ability until it does. But exiling the
Except for the Recruiter,
Devourer
probably a little
to
less
the
brain
Soul
required.
Cauldron
Yeah, I
is
definitely
what
would have like blocked the
gets that across
Recruiter.
the line.
I guess when I saw the attack
but
face,
anyway,
the alarm
AJ
bells
won
definitely
that
go off
game
of like what is
because
happening?
Ari was
Why aren't
not
you attacking
able
this
to
Ajani that's going to
assemble
kill
any
you? And it's
lethal
because
attacks
you're
or
trying to.
combos. AJ
trying to
also
punk
had
your
the Solitude
opponent.
ready to go in his hand. So
But yeah, all roads lead
kind
to
of
Rome
like
when
some
you know you
interesting
have the
stuff going on
Solitude
for
roll
Ari, but
Deck lists of these copies of Fury. They're looking
What are we
real
boarding in
juicy
here?
this
Furies.
exactly right,
Ghost
Riley.
Vacuum,
That's certainly
Needle,
a key card.
probably it.
Could bring in Pithing Needle against the wide range of activated abilities because
being on at the helm as a companion. And
You get to
out of
board
the sideboard,
in
what,
Vacuum,
anything catch your eye
split
here,
up,
Reed?
Wraths,
We do
maybe,
have
probably
options
Priest.
like, Magus of the Moon to maybe
That's about
shut down
it.
some
I usually
of those.
I don't want all
those
3
dual lands.
Maguses, but I
the
usually
opponent
want
is playing Blood Moon, so I don't think that's
one.
what we're bringing in, right?
so you can like
My
recruit or
favorite card
Saga
here is
Answer
Wrath of the
sometimes.
Skies because it can clean up all the small artifacts. You know, and it's just out structure.
Good servant. That's some cards that have been released in more recent
Alright.
times. So
Vial,
an
this
interesting
is
matchup
solid
for us
hands.
to
A
talk
Johnny's
about
Own Forge
here.
Vial,
He's Vial in the
Solitudes,
opener for
lands.
AJ Franklin.
Suppose
We'd
seems
love
really
to see
awkward in this
that.
matchup.
Good
Yeah,
attacks to
it's
play.
like
On the other side,
good
it
enough.
looks like Ari's having a good old think
It's
about
just
whether he
like
wants to keep this hand. Lots of
like-
mana in it, but does he have a
Solve the
sufficient
giveaway
number
text on
of
the screen.
threats?
Thank you. I always have the
Okay,
giveaway
but-
text on the screen and no one ever reminds me.
Arena of Glory to open things up. Back over to
Yes.
AJ here, who
Shameless plug,
wouldn't
if
be
you want
surprised
the
to
sideboard
see
guide that
Mr.
AJ was
Violent
looking at
number
just
one.
now, you can go to flexslot.gg/u/xjcloud if you're subscribed to me on Twitch, and you can access the exact same sideboard guide that he was using.
And I will pass it over to you.
And there it is. Yes, indeed. Prismatic Vista fetching a Plains to power out the Ether Vial. And now Ari taking 2 to
A little
play.
scary when your
next
main
ball.
card to break up the nonsense is Solitude.
Interesting. Not a card that I would have thought of as being a great one against Death and Taxes. Certainly has some applications.
And
Like
give out a copy of it
Evoke
since I myself
Solitude,
don't want it. If you
possibly
have a
the
friend
players
who
I mean,
likes
these
Death
are
and Taxes,
unusual decks. They're not the
then
first or the
yes,
second
you
or
can
the
feel free
fifth
to
or the
hand it to
10th
them
choice
as
of
your free
what
copy.
you know you're gunning for in your sideboard. And they might just not have enough
Are we just trying to turbo
cards
combo,
to really
or
take
we
out all
grabbing
of their less than great
Yeah,
options.
that's fair. That's pretty. That's not that scary because he
Goblin
doesn't have
Engineer.
Welder, right? He does have an Arena of Glory,
To
which
the
means
Vexen
could mean
Bauble here.
Hasty
Back over to
Welder.
AJ.
There's that
notably, but
Chaos
you do
Defiler,
have-
so it is Rakdos after all.
This
Chaos
is probably like
Defiler,
Stoneforge for
5 mana, 5/4
Chainsaw.
trample with the Battle Cannon ability.
That Bombardier's in
leave it at
hand.
that.
That's a really good turn
Yeah.
3 with the
Everybody
Academy.
clearly knows what
I
Battle
need to
Cannon
look to
is.
run those
I
battle
think I
cannon,
would
of
just
course,
Stoneforge
but-
for Chainsaw.
Well, there might be
probably.
some new viewers joining us right for the
Okay,
first
just
time.
in case.
Especially when
Just in
your
case.
Battle
opponent
Cannon says,
doesn't have a
when
Welder in
Chaos
play
Defiler
and
enters the
entombs
battlefield
their,
or dies, for each opponent, in
entombs
this case
their
that would be
Chaos
AJ
Defiler.
Franklin, choose a non-land permanent that player
Okay.
controls, destroy one of them, chosen at random.
I suppose this is approximately as efficient.
And of course,
Because you can always violent Stoneforge or grab the chainsaw if that's
but
what you
just
end up
a
deciding to
refresher
do
for any of the
anyway.
newer players here, useful. All right, we're going to
The
see
Stoneforge
Arena
is-
of Glory paired with
Stoneforge is
Simian
also a little
Spirit
bit more
Guide,
powerful.
Goblin Welder with haste.
With
Thanks to the
instant
Arena
speed,
of
but
Glory.
like this is the issue that you run into, right? If you
And,
had Chainsaw here, you could
looks
at
like
least
the Chaos
stop
Defiler's
this.
going to be swapped over to the
After,
Vexen
after
Bauble.
you
Well,
get
there's the
your
reason to play the
Welder.
Bauble, right? A nice cheap artifact that you can
This just KOs the Vial and the Ajani, right?
weld into something bigger
you
and
can
better. And
engineer
there is the battle
the-
cannon. Oh, how lucky!
You can
The
cast the
random,
Solitude here at least.
Decision made to destroy the Ether Vial.
Wow. Chaos Defiler doing work here alongside
Okay, I'll still respond. to
two dueling welders. Or a welder and an engineer.
Yeah, Solitude, the
Solitude.
Okay,
welder,
so AJ is
at least
using
that
the
problem
narrow
is
window
gone.
where Vexing Bauble is not on the battlefield in order to evoke
we had to
Solitude
pitch the
and
Stoneforge.
I mean
We're
presumably
still
go
like,
after
kind of
Goblin
okay here
Welder.
though. You kill the Welder,
Mhm.
you get to like Bombardier,
Oh, sorry, the
kill
first
the
one's a Goblin
Engineer
Engineer,
next
excuse me
turn.
for
Oh,
missing
was that Bombardier or was that Magus? You really don't want Magus here. Huh? Did he not have red mana? Maybe that's why he didn't play Stoneforge. I thought I saw like an Arid Mesa in there.
Right, it's going to be the engineer that bites the dust. Should be Exile,
Interesting.
of course.
Yes.
So the reason that that's a non-obvious play is that the welder is capable of returning the Chaos Defiler, but the engineer is not.
Yeah, there.
So
Exile. Yep. Yeah.
it
Hitting engineer.
might be
Yeah,
the case
I
that
think I'll just hit the
AJ
welder.
has another
Like it
removal
doesn't matter
spell for
because
the welder.
I guess he was thinking about cast Soul
Yeah, you're thinking
Cauldron
of vacuum
afterwards.
once they're on the battlefield. That is the
And
welder.
then you can
is
make
just
the
much
engineer a
better than
2/3, and you
the
can't kill it with
engineer.
the
The engineer gets the entomb effect when it enters.
does the thing, the
but after
Bombardiers?
that is
I
just
don't
worse
know.
than Goblin Welder in
There's just
terms
cards
of
in my
being
deck.
more
I
restricted
agree.
as to what
Yeah,
can
yeah,
activate
I
a
know.
target.
I just figured I'd ask. Maybe my opponent will tell me things about his deck.
There's a question in chat: is 9-0 guaranteed to make the top 8? It's a great question. The answer is
Plow, hand is Magus
I would
Plow.
say
He's
not
still pretty in
guaranteed
this
because
game.
There's a number of ways.
I've
that
definitely
things
won
can
games
play
where my
out.
opponent had like the
For example,
Defiler Wombo
a
combo.
9-0
blew up-
player
blew
might
up a
be
bunch of my
looking
stuff.
to intentionally draw, but might not
You missed 2 damage.
get paired against an opponent who wants
You really
to do
want your
that.
opponent
So
to just like play Urza Saga here.
to state the obvious, 9-0 is a super desirable record that puts you in great shape, but I would not yet be comfortable claiming that it's guaranteed for top 8, since we do still have 2 rounds to go in the morning tomorrow.
Broadside Bombardiers comes down and
Yeah, that was
immediately
a question
gets
on the
in,
stream.
given the
Is
fact that it
9-0
has haste, and
guaranteed? I think
then
9-0 yeah, because he double drew
we
in.
saw
Yeah, there we go.
it
So
boast to remove the Goblin Welder. So both Goblins removed from the battlefield, but his
which
Agatha's
is scary
Soul
because
Cauldron
there's a welder in the graveyard
follow things up.
and a chaos defiler.
Sleeve, it's on you now.
So and this this mag is
goes to
incredible
HM
here,
now.
right? Because it kills
Picked up
the
game
Saga
number one,
and
but he
turns
handled
off the arena. He's
And
not
he's continuing to
magicing.
build out a board with Ajani.
Combat.
Wow, this is
MVP
so
last.
nasty. The
Oh, I get
Bombardiers
no.
plus
Okay, I guess
Ajani.
the
Just gonna transform.
the creature can't get the
Planeswalker,
construct can't get haste.
unload a
here.
lot
It's
of
not as
damage.
threatening. You
provide
could get
a
got here
secondary
by
red permanent. So
hasty
your
creature,
abilities
turn the hasty
do
creature
even
into.
more.
No, he has plow in
So
hand. Never
I
mind, he
think
can't.
Ari's
Yeah.
going to have basically a one-turn
He's got
window
plows,
to do
he's
something
totally
really
fine. He just
special.
wants to
And if
kill
not,
his
AJ
opponent.
Franklin's going to be dominant in this game.
Get the Ajani flip and start zero.
Ajani makes a 2-1, deals some extra
Makes a
damage
lot of
upstairs
sense.
to Ari, who is sitting on this one single Agatha's Soul Cauldron, which activates to exile the Goblin Welder. Back over to Ari now, whose Saga
is.
ticks
Gotta
up.
do it like
Looking great here.
slow as molasses.
Now, the good news for Ari is he does have Arena of Glory, so combining that with another red source could allow him to play a creature with
Got 1 minute
haste,
left. All right, he can win in a 1 minute,
including
right?
one that can pick up some
Magus still
spicy.
seems better to me. I think he's just
abilities
dead
via
next
the
turn
Soul
because he did
Cauldron.
this, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
But he does not seem
This
to
is
have
like,
another
go get
red
Devour.
source for any exertion shenanigans.
so then you're just still fine here.
So Goblin Engineer the play here.
No, I just got this big
The
end.
second engineer we've seen. It's going to put
Wait,
a
what?
Phyrexian Devourer in the bin.
Is this 3 seems here or just anything?
It's anything. It's just a
Oh, but to get it back, it's 3. Which
Which
are
can then be exiled by
I understand.
the
Zero puts
Agatha's
Ari to
Soul
6.
to put a
Attack.
+1/+1 counter on the engineer,
on my goblin.
and then the engineer can
Response,
be
yep.
grown very, very large
This is just
with
lethal,
the
yeah,
activation
zero plus play
of
Magus
Devour's
through it.
ability,
Just
thanks to
kill
the
him.
Agatha's Soul Cauldron, or it can be sent straight to the exiles with a well-timed
Four,
Plowshares.
seven,
AJ with all the
eight,
answers here, and Ari slipping
5, 13 or
further
something
and further
here?
away from a potential victory in this game and this
Hell
match.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
10?
think that this is.
Yeah, the tombs are absolutely
Just gonna
brutal.
be
Tomb
over.
plus,
For
like,
example,
this is
you
the
zero
way
Johnny,
to
make
build
a
D&T
2/1,
that
deal
can
3 damage to Ari,
actually,
then
like,
you attack for 4 and
punish your opponent for
sacrifice-
like using their life total as a resource. I think it's misplaced Ginger. What the fuck is Ginger playing lately? I don't know. I'll keep turn 1 Blood Moon, I guess. Hope he's not on like tempo. I would bet Forge. It's not that good against Forge, but not a lot of my game 1 hands are, especially on the draw. Can we win a die roll? Please? Just like 1 die roll. He's played Delver in the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see like Tempo or Reanimator here. Flats. Looks like Tempo, huh? 4 cards in hand. Guess we just slam Blood Moon and hope for the best, huh? Oh, I have the Moto noises on. Sorry, I'll turn the desktop audio off. I'm just gonna slam Blood Moon and hope for the best. We have turn 3 Bombardiers to pressure a Tameo eventually. Not the greatest plan, but it's a plan. Resolved Moon is good, but not out of the woods yet. This Tameo is going to draw a decent number of cards before we can kill it. Draw like 3 cards or something before it dies. But like, running on absolute like very, very slim outs here. This is the turn where you think about not cracking the clue, right? Because you want to flip the Tameo now. Sure. We have nothing but Broadside Bombardiers in this hand, so Kind of happy if this Tameo flips and he stops drawing cards with it, so we can just kill it. Land? No fourth land? There's fourth land, sure. Thinking about not flipping it on purpose to keep drawing cards? Wouldn't do that after you held the clue, right? Consider. I guess, like, I don't know. You probably just want to flip the Tammy and try to ult it. Guess not. Alright, fair enough. Oh, nice. Now we just get to kill the Tamio. Didn't really want to play the Sokensen, but I guess. If it kills the Tamio. Bobble, literally grid / bolt split card. True. Good old one defense grid. One turn defense grid into lightning bolt. I think I'm gonna cast Blood Moon here. One of his only outs is like Island plus wait, is this just lethal? Hang on. Bombardier 12, Pitchcast Fury, throw for 7, throw for 5. 4 down to 12. Yeah, that's just lethal, never mind. Sides, broad, bombs, adhered, lands, mountains. The ban bobble people have started to actually convince me. Yeah, I see the vision. I guess that's the one thing I didn't talk about when I was like ranting at the start of the stream, is talking about potential ban desires, but like it's probably just like frog, bobble, Nadu, and like put the entire Eldrazi deck on a dartboard and just throw and see what happens. What do we cut here? Magus on the draw, maybe? Board Magus back in on the play. I think the way this deck is designed, you do kind of want to try to punk tempo with Blood Moons. But it's probably not very worthwhile on the play, huh? Or on the draw. Throw like 3 darts? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll throw several darts. Herald on the jobbing block? Yeah, fuck it. Ban Herald and the Once Upon a Time guy. What's the Eldrazi? And Thought-Knot Seer. It's really funny how Thought-Knot went from like one of the most broken Eldrazi ever printed to like the 4th best. I think we'll just run this. This seems fine. There's a chance I swap like Bomba and Magus or something on the play. We have Bobble. We have Blast. We have lands. I don't hate this hand. And Smash. Yeah, Smasher went from great to like stone cold unplayable, not close. They printed Smasher for 2 less mana, and it's still bad. What's the worst believable ban decision they could do outside of no bans? I think exclusively Frog would actually be a very bad ban. because tempo is always like the format police, and frog is like the only thing keeping tempo semi-playable. Anyway, we'll keep this. Thoughtseize. Alright, fair enough. They should divide the ban list into power level bans and this card just sucks bans so people understand. Smart, yes. Another 2-mana, 2/3 Lord. Isn't it a 2/2? Is it the Herald's End not a 2/2? Am I insane? But it is just like Lord of Atlantis in a deck that plays like tribal soul lands. So it's like one, like if Lord of Atlantis could be cast off of one land. We're just gonna play this tapped. Thoughtseize again. Yeah, okay, yeah, you got it. Redeemed Hydrate. Didn't I literally just pick up the water bottle? Am I going crazy? Yeah, that makes sense. How many hydrates do I have to redeem for you to finish the bottle? I don't know. 10? Monkey Beats? Probably not. I think I'm going to play a Tomb here. Don't really care if it gets wastelanded. There's a chance I want to cast a Shatter Skull Smashing. I thought about Sokenzan, but Sokenzan is a spell in this hand that could easily flood out. God, I want to blast this Brainstorm so badly. I feel like it's not right, though. They know it's there, though, so, like, maybe it is right, but also, I don't know. Kind of just need to tag Murktide or Frog with this blast. You definitely blast that? Interesting. Not a very good turn to cast Broadside Bombardiers, huh? Take 4 damage. Channel Sokenzan. He missed a line drop, did he? Oh shit, yeah, maybe I should have blasted that. I didn't think about that this was just Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize. Not right now, kitty. Not right now. Yeah, definitely more inclined to blast that after realizing that he just literally went Thoughtseize go. Or Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize go. I think this is play Ancient Tomb. We still have Smashing. Yeah. My life total's a resource, right? You want 2 red sources, but not necessarily. I guess kind of, because you want to like protect Broadside with Pyroblast potentially, but we could easily just draw a red source and Shatter Skull suddenly a spell. We have Spirit Guide as potential second red source. I'm very prone to trying to mitigate Flood in the tempo matchups, which means trying to save my spell to potentially cast as a spell if we draw more lands, and I play it as a spell if we get our Volcanic Fissure wastelanded or whatever. Frogs, it's just like Frog plus Force of Will. We can beat that though, I think. Maybe not. It's just gotta be Force of Will, 100%. Force, we play Fable at that point. If we blast... Could Bomba instead, try to race. Alright, step 1, I'm pretty sure I'm just supposed to always try to destroy this frog and see what happens. I don't think I want to throw a spirit at it. Just make them discard 1 card out of the 3 cards left in their hand. I could throw Spirit face, just cast Bombardiers, attack for 3, 4, 5, put them to 7. If they don't have answer to Bombardiers, they die. Attack with both, and if they block, they go down to 1 card. How much do I care about that? They just keep the removal spell, right? Could also just throw that Spirit token at face and just try to kill them that way. Could also, yeah, I don't think playing. I think it is just go face. Just a question of if I want to like play smashing or use Spirit Guide. Take 3 damage. I go to 13. I go to 11. Do I bolt this in? Then I have Spirit Guide left over to throw. I want to throw the Spirit Guide for lethal potentially. I think I do actually do this. All of this waiting and I just get punished. Could also just cast the Fable this turn. That seems pretty stupid. I could throw the Spirit at the Frog and make them discard 2 cards, and they probably don't discard. They probably discard any dazes they might have, and then cast Fable. But how good is that even? I think I'm just gonna try to kill them. Potential lethal next turn. Could have gotten 2 with the block. Yeah, I waste both spirits to get 2 cards out of their 3-card hand, yeah. It's more enticing if you can mind twist them, right? Because if you're just discarding a bunch of their cards, they always get to keep their best one, which isn't super great for you. Especially when they're going to just draw 2 fresh cards off the top after that. Could be hard for them to turn on a Revolt if you eat their hand. That's fair. If they keep push. I mean, they draw 2 cards after that. If they just, like, discard down to just Fatal Push. Are they Tempo or Reanimator? They're Tempo. We saw Tameo. I mean, I've seen... There can be Tempo in... What is this? Oh, turning on push. Sure. This Sunday Eruption is not very good, huh? I think we just play Fable. Do we discard, or do we like try to save life here? We're at 10. We'd go to 8. Opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4 showing, possibly. I think I'd rather have more cards in my hand to try to mill towards, or like loot towards like bridge, pyroblast, answers like that. So I think I just take some damage. Do I just cast the Spirit Guide? No, because we don't have lethal. We had a 6 we established. It's 5 showing? 4 showing. Do I play this tapped? I don't think so. We just want to loot 2 bad cards away. Dig towards Snaring Bridge, Pyroblast, Bombardiers. Oh, it is actually 1 extra damage. I didn't consider the Tameo clue, but yeah. This is 5 damage showing. Pretty incentivized to discard some amount of cards here to try to kill me over 2 turns. No. Maybe they don't have to cast any cards. They draw. Flip Tameo. Bobble, sure. Kind of need Blast plus Bombardiers. What do I want to draw now, huh? Discard Sundering Eruption Sphere. I think Bobble's going to be the best possible to like try to stop some sort of Force of Will stuff. We just loot into Bombardiers. I think we have a shot. Classic. They're going to draw to 5 cards. They can minus Tameo to 6 cards and literally just kill me here. So I guess we just cycle Vexing Bauble in hopes to draw Bombardiers and then concede. Fair enough. Wait, not dead anymore? Maybe if I had played that off of the mountain we wouldn't be dead. This is draw to 3, minus to 4. Yeah, we are actually dead. I should cast that off of the Shatter Skull, I think. But yeah, we'll just go to game 3, it'll be fine. I kind of want to board these Maguses back in. I don't know, Bombardiers has just been really good, though. Is this like... Is Bridge not good? I don't know, Bridge would have been good to draw at any point in that game. Still, although obviously not great against the Tameo. I do like kind of want to Blood Moon them though, especially on the play, especially versus Force of Negation. Board out the Karns? Yeah. Boarding out Karns seems weird. I feel like I don't have enough ways to actually win the game if I board out Karns. Just like don't actually have any creatures. I guess does seem good enough. Yeah. I'm boarding out 4 drops versus the Daze deck has historically been pretty relevant, but it's weird if I'm boarding out Karns and leaving in bridges. What am I bridging towards? I feel like my opponent has a lot more good draws in their deck at that point. It seems relevant to try to force people to discard cards to Frog with the purpose of making Frog not functional versus bridge. Yeah, that's come up for me a few times. Got quad wastelanded out of game 3 versus Eldrazi. We're going to game 3 versus Tempo, so I'll definitely need that good luck. We'll have the God Hand. We'll have like turn 1 Bauble Moon into threat. I genuinely like don't know how I'm supposed to sideboard here. I think there's a chance that like some of this stuff might actually not, like maybe Karn isn't actually good. We're just not doing anything. But then if we're boarding out Karn, then the bridges aren't good, and we just don't have, like Magus isn't in the plan. I don't know. I'm just gonna hit submit. Leave a single Karn maybe. Well, this hand is very bad. Yeah, well, this hand is very bad, and my opponent has kept 7. That's not good. Do I just need to keep lands and spells on 6? I don't think you can, like, mold a 5 versus tempo, can you? This hand is just so awful, though. Just bottom the Karn, keep 3 non-basic mountains, Bombardier's Fury. Yeesh. This hand is worse than a Force of Will check. Draw Bauble, then Soul Land. Is this hand even worse than a Force of Will check? I guess it's kind of just complete dog shit versus, like, Days, right? But it's like, what happens if I just mold a 5 and my opponent just casts turn 1 Tameo? At least I have, like, Fury for it. This sucks. Well, this wouldn't be any better with a Magazine in the hand, would it? What am I looking for on 5? Just like Chrome Mox, red card, Soul Land, Moon, something? Pyroblasts? Maybe you draw Tomb City, I guess. Yeah. I think the big thing is that you do kind of need functional hands versus tempo. This hand just sucks so bad. Ugh. Alright. Well, it wasn't in the cards today, huh? That's fine. Classic borderline 6 unkeepable 5. Alright. We have a blast. We'll just keep this in and rip lands off the top. Why do all the 7s look like this? I mean, yeah, if you had 1-landers. Yep. All the wastelands gravitate towards your opponent's hand as soon as you keep, like, sketch ass 1-landers. Would have been nice to keep that 3-lander that I had on 6, huh? After your opponent fires off turn 1 wasteland. It's okay, we have Ancient Tomb on the top of the deck. It's okay. We have no lands. My opponent has a meager 7 cards in their hand to my 3. They just don't have any more lands. They're just gonna pass the turn. They also kept a 1 fetch wasteland, no cantrips Tameo hand. Just gotta believe. Do we just, like, fire off this Pyroblast on any cantrip? Just try to cheese? It seems so bad because they almost certainly have Days at this point. Maybe they don't. Yeah, I guess there's no reason to not let this resolve, huh? Versus basic swamp. Draw land and blast this. Instantly punished. Alright, he's dead. That's good. That's nice. Alright, yeah, sure. Take my Pyroblast. Cast a third Tamia or land frog. Shuffle. Shuffle, and then we draw... God, I don't even fucking know what we could draw. We're so dead. I could cast Demonic Tutor for the next 3 turns, and I'm fairly confident I would lose this game. That's definitely not Demonic Tutor. I think I let Ponder resolve, especially because I don't have the second blast now. No shuffle into go? At some point I should play out this Chromox player on days, but I don't think that point's right now. Could get punished by Brazen Borrower. We could always just, like, blast the frog on my own turn. Although this does play into Force of Negation. So maybe I wasn't supposed to do this. Or maybe I was supposed to play the Chromox out that turn. Still alive. Not really. Opponent's 5 cards in my hand, in their hands. I have 2 mana sources and a useless 3-drop and a slightly less useless 3-drop. Need to draw, like... What do they have here? They haven't countered any of my spells. I feel like they would definitely have forced that last Pyroblast at the very least. Did you have, like, Consign? They would have consigned a Chromox, probably, right? Maybe not. There was a little bit of a pause on the Chromox cast. Should I just cast this? Just play this bridge? I don't think it's getting harder for them to hold up Consign or anything. Could play Bomba instead. Not really allowed to attack. It'll be fine. It'll just resolve. Land? Karn? Vexing Bauble into Karn? I leave it, we're not dead. I don't know what's happening, man. I feel like he just has to have me dead here, but I'm not dead yet. There's the Borrower, sure. Is it just like Borrower plus Force? Large Miracle? Yeah, for sure. I think this... We could draw a Vexing Bauble right here. And then get Hardcast Force and Negation to maybe... No, sure, just Force a will. Would have been a hell of a time to draw a Vexing Bauble, huh? Top deck Karn. Or another bridge. I think those are about my only outs. Murktide. Karn or bridge, Karn or bridge, Karn or bridge, Karn or bridge. Well, we gave it the old college try. And then we died to tempo, as is the fate of all Moon Stompy strategies. Dang. Oh well. Might hang on a little bit longer. Maybe it was... Yeah, game 2 was probably winnable. Or, yeah, maybe winnable if we blasted the Brainstorm. Who knows if he had the second... I guess we could literally go check if he had the second land in hand, but that's like... You know, hindsight is 20/20. If you have all the information, you can, like, make your decisions better. But yeah, I think I could have... if I could go back in time, I definitely would have... He's not streaming? Oh, I saw him streaming earlier today, but I guess it makes sense that he's not streaming now. In the Legacy. And once he's playing in the LCQ. Oh well. That game had a lot more hope given how completely horrendous it felt at the start. And in the middle. And at the end. But yeah, we're pretty much dead here. X and 1 means that we're definitely not. As soon as you take your loss, you're out of the LCQ. Do I drop and just... It's 11 o'clock. I kind of want to go through the rest of AJ's matches. Let's just drop. I don't really want to play it out for fucking 300 play points or whatever. Let's do the rest of AJ's matches. Oop. Multiply on the play and have no turn 1 plays in 3 hands. Yeah, definitely. Winning the game 1 and having the... Like, being on the play versus Delver is, like, a huge boon, but then sometimes, you know, your deck mulls to 5 and you die. Can't be that broken up. Alright. AJ was just, like... I think it was, like, literally lethal here. Yeah. Magus. Yeah, he scoops up his cards. Hell yeah. And that's literally it for day 1. We go to day 2, and I don't know. I heard that someone was on feature in round 8, but maybe I was lied to. We might only get 2 matches. Skip ahead 30 minutes here, huh? Then the Rhinos player on. Nice. AJ's top 8 was only game 3. Wow. We get like actually nothing to cover? Because obviously they don't stream AJ anymore in the Swiss because he double draws in. Mystic Forge versus Stifle Knot. Oh, and then they do Vintage Top 8, huh? Yeah, I don't care about any of this stuff. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Dang, I thought I would get, like, AJ's full match or something in top 8. It looked really tense. His his entire match took a really long time to play out. So I was interested in seeing it, but I guess we only get to see the game 3. But it's already 11 o'clock, so we can just do a game 3 and then check out for the night. Seems pretty fine. Next week, maybe I'll stream some fucking standard or something. Gotta start practicing for the Pro Tour. What's AJ have in hand? 4 land, 3 spell, looks like maybe. Pyroblast in there. Did you just wink at the hang on, did I? What does he have in hand? Lands. I think basic. Oh wait, hang on. We have the technology to stop time. You can see his hand briefly there after he plays the land. Oh, I should actually put the sound on too. Not that it matters for you guys that much. Mountain Plains. White card. Oh, here we go. What is that? Solitude. This is Recruiter, I think. Recruiter, Blast, Solitude. Solitude, I
got
think?
one. My fiance is not a big fan of it.
Land, yeah.
It's one of those
Solitude.
so bad it's good.
Yeah, land, Solitude, Recruiter, Blast, I think. Something like that.
Anyway, we've opened things up here. A Ponder from Max. On the other side of things, AJ.
Pretty okay hand.
You can
Lacking,
see Yorion
like,
as the
things to put into play
This
early.
is an 80 card deck. Yeah.
Tamio? That's...
Yeah, so Max really took his time on that ponder, just trying to
Imagine where your
see
blasts are
all
really
the
good and things
branching
like
possibilities of the next couple of turns and
is
make
kind
sure
of
he's developing
obnoxious.
as well as possible, sculpting an effective game plan. And now
You could just, like,
Turntini's
let
going
the
to set
Tameo
himself up
happen.
with Tameo, which, as far as I can tell, Tameo is not really a part of the combo. It's more just like, hey, this card is great,
Random value
and
card.
if I can get this early and
Interesting.
start attacking,
I don't think I've seen
gonna
Tamio
like
in
my
breakfast very
position.
often at all.
And then also,
Tamio is a pretty
Urza
easy
Saga,
card to
which
slot
can
into a
contribute
lot
to
of
the
blue
combo
decks.
by
Like,
grabbing
performs
Shuko at
fairly
chapter
well.
3.
Pretty high floor in your Ponder
Let's see
Brainstorm
what
deck.
land AJ wants to grab for himself here.
I get a parlor.
Find your Surveil land.
He does have access to 2 copies of Elegant Parlor. Yeah, that's the pickup here for AJ. The Surveil lands have
He had one
really,
Tamio main
really
board.
overperformed.
I guess I could actually
I
scroll back
didn't
and look
take
at his
part
deck
in,
list
but I
that was
heard,
shown, too.
I overheard some
I dig
very,
it.
very
Seems
interesting
fine.
arguments about the
Not a blue
Surveil
player,
lands when
but-
they were first released. And there is a certain Australian Magic player whose name I will not mention on the stream, who was convinced that they were terrible, so overrated, never going to see any play, like just people hyping them up for no reason. He couldn't have been more wrong. These cards are
This
great,
is definitely
and
not
they
a
are
super
seeing play
thrill-
all
I
the
guess
way
the
through
Grog is
Legacy.
really
I think they've proven to us already just how
Yeah.
much of an impact they have.
Max was
Exactly right. Yeah,
ready to fire off
subtle addition
there.
to these decks, but really punching above their weight class.
You're
in
not
terms of
supposed to
what
wait.
just the battlefield.
Although I guess you have the
enters
the
battlefield tap
Rebs,
land
it's like
can
not
do
the
for your
worst
deck.
thing in the world, but you're supposed to just always
Right, so
bounce
the
the
character's
Tamio
going to
there
bounce
because
Tamio back to hand.
makes it
here
harder for like the
before it has a
brainstorm
chance to attack,
response.
so no clue to Max this turn.
If you brainstorms a response, are you
I'll point
supposed
out
to
as
rub
well,
the
this is
Tamio or
game
supposed to
3,
rub the
we should have mentioned,
brainstorm?
heading
Either?
into the final deciding
Oh, I guess
game
not.
between these two
I guess you would let the
here.
Tamio flip and then blow it up. Because the
Well, I
Tamio
guess
never
that's
does
evidence
the
that both players must have some moves that they can do against one another. Both have managed to win a game to this point.
Yeah, clearly not a hugely lopsided matchup.
Multiple people have
Okay,
talked to me about
Grafdigger's
this.
Cage now.
I was very perplexed
which
to
is
see
useful
this
against
cage
that
in the deck.
Dread Return.
I've talked to
finish.
AJ
Something that Max will
about
have to deal
the
with
breakfast matchup
before
previously. We
the
both agreed
Death
that
Star
like
could be
Great Rotate was
reanimated.
pretty medium.
Yeah, super interesting one because it doesn't technically stop the combo.
Like, maybe Fairy Macabre was like the only thing he wanted.
It
but,
stops
I mean,
the win condition.
AJ's played this whole match, and I'm
And-
sitting here watching Game 3, so I do think that
I
it's
don't
a pretty
think it does
important skill to be able to
anything
decide,
against
like
Nadu
change
in
your
this
sideboard
particular
decisions
case,
on the
'cause there's no-
fly
there's
and
no
kind of
Dryad
make
Arbor
decisions based on what you see
where
out of your
creatures
opponent's
be entering the
cards.
battlefield directly from the graveyard. So, Grafdigger's Cage, I wouldn't name as one of the most stressful cards that Max can face, but
I also talk very
certainly
quietly, so
does protect AJ from
Subs flashback journey, so not just Nadu.
instant win of
So just not Nadu. I mean, yeah, it just stops. It bricks the whole Cephalid combo.
If you're needing win conditions,
He's breaking just the Cephalid combo
particularly if your opponent is short
and
on
being
interaction,
answerable
short on
by like
blockers.
Teferi, Prismatic Ending,
You see two
whatever
of them.
relevant. Maybe
Saga.
we'll go look back at
Sacrifice
Max's
for
list
the next
maybe.
Chapter 3. And what are we going to see here, Reed? You mentioned Shuko before. Did you pick up?
Where are we?
Shuko's actually the only
5,
main deck
38,
option
50. Someone
that you
remember
can
that.
grab with Urza Saga. There's a few in the sideboard. The one
So
that
I'm gonna
maybe
scroll
could have come in for the
back
matchup is
and
Pithing
look
Needle,
at
but
Max's
I think you just set yourself a way to combo or just generate an obscene amount
Because
of value.
they're in the top base, so they're working with perfect info. Although I guess we don't get to see the sideboard here, so we don't get perfect info. I guess we can just do this, huh? Breakfast. One ending. Two Teferis. There's the cavern. Three ending, two Teferi? Yeah, I can't say I'd want Cage first this deck. That's what I wanted. Let's go back. 538.50. Apparently opponent told him they sided out combo for him 2 and 3. Nadu or like breakfast.
And we see two of them.
Sided out
There's the
Thassa's
Saga.
Oracle. Oh,
Being
well,
sacrificed.
and then the cage looks
It's
really
chapter
bad.
3. And what are we going to see here, Reed? You
That's
mentioned
interesting.
Shuko before.
You just turn into like a Nadu deck. I think
Shuko's actually the
like,
only
very
main deck
happy if
option
that.
that you can grab with Urza Saga. There's a
Personally.
few in the sideboard. The one that maybe could have come in for the matchup is Pithing Needle, but I think just set yourself
Because
up
Magus
with
Food is
Shuko.
so good versus
you know,
breakfast in
getting that
particular
one extra
because
point of
they
power could
like
be
literally can't
sneakily
cast
effective here.
Nadu through your like into a Magus of the Moon.
All right.
I would be pretty pumped if my opponent boarded out either half of the combo. But I guess there is something to be gained by
We should
like
mention about
your
this
opponent
Cephalid
not
breakfast
knowing
deck.
until after
It
the
is
match, right?
extremely
after
powerful
you talk
combo
and say,
deck
"Hey,
with
this is how I sideboard."
not one,
Like,
but
if I don't
two
know that
different
my
ways to
breakfast
combo
opponent's
off
boarded out the combo
and
and
get the
they
opponent
hit me
dead
with
at the
like
drop of a
Nomad
dime.
Cephalid Illusionist, I'm not
Even
allowed to
with
just
that
not kill
said,
it, right?
The real strength of this deck is that it's just a well-balanced kind of mid-range deck that can control the game and go toe-to-toe for as long
This game still seems like pretty
as
fine for him. He's
needed
got like
before it
Johnny
finally
is
sets up and finds its window to combo
Magus is so
off.
good versus Cephalid.
So we're talking
yeah,
sorts of
I like
Crushers,
Magus and Red
Prismatic
Blast the
Ending,
most. This is
Teferi,
like one of the
Force
best
of Will,
Nadu matchups
Haste,
for the Red
just
Splash
all
in
the
particular.
cards that you would want in
Blast
your
is at its
white, blue
like
legacy deck in the
huge
first
premium
place.
because they
They're
don't have the
all
Green Sazzius or Quarter Callings.
structural
They just have like
Cephalid
usually
breakfast
one
deck,
copy of
so,
Cavern or
you
something
know,
to
when
get
your
through.
opponent goes too
Blast,
far out of their
and then,
way
like,
with
Magus
stuff
actually
like
just
Grafdigger's
stone colds
Cage
Nadu.
and Pithing Needle and whatever it might be, then it's you're like, okay, well I've got some
Anyway,
creatures.
this
I've
looks
got
pretty
some removal
good.
spells,
Johnny,
I'm just gonna beat you there
like
and
people
square.
kind of
And this is an
dunk
as you
on
say,
Johnny a
important
little
to
bit
note about this
sometimes
type of
because
combo
it's
deck.
just
There
like
are many
doesn't
combo decks that do
feel
one thing and
super
one
good
thing
when you're not
only.
doing like
You know what I mean? They
the
don't have
Bombardier's
to
combo
backup
stuff.
plans.
But Johnny's really good at gumming up the
Things
board
like
state.
disruptions
Wait,
and
what happened to our
and
token
ways to
here?
protect themselves.
Is this, like,
They don't
something
often
happening in
have a
response?
pivot, right? They can't do anything other than the thing that they've been built to do. Whereas this Cephalid Breakfast deck, it can play a value game.
But yeah,
and
Johnny just like
play
gums up ground board states really
very
well.
slow the game,
Sometimes when you
use
play
those
against a deck like Breakfast, you do kind of
force
you
wills,
do occasionally die to like just
flashes,
idiot
stop
construct
the hand
beatdowns.
with Ponder and Brainstorm. or eventually setting up in a better position.
But Ajani just
to,
like
to
really
perform
turns
the
off the
game.
ability for your
rather
opponent
than,
to like attack
trying
you
to do
with
one
ground
thing,
creature
like
very
a show
well.
and tell deck.
Okay, this is on
right?
stack.
That does
Outfit.
one thing and lives by the sword and dies by the sword, whereas this one has a little bit more room to maneuver. So a good observation, Reed. Here we see AJ.
There's
Franklin,
Cameron, that sucks.
but the marquee card, I would say, in this new form of Death and Taxes, Ajani.
Cameron is quite unfortunate.
Cattle Pryor. This
And
this
here's
has been
Nomad
huge
plus
card.
Nadu.
We've seen it across the
And in
weekend
response,
already, but now,
you just solitude the
We're turning the
Nomad.
heat up on Max's side of things. Here is essentially the combo, right? Nadu plus the Nomad.
Oh no, because there's a Shuko too.
Yeah,
Fuck.
and this is the
That
combo.
sucks a lot.
in
Yeah, this is the fucking shit. You always get got by the one of
So if you
Cavern
think
of
about
Souls
the
every
mono-white
time
or
you have,
nearly mono-white
like,
Death and
you're
Taxes
relying
deck,
on
its main interaction
blasts.
point is going to be
Why are
creature
we-
removal,
why are we
Swords,
back here?
Plowshares, Solitude, and the like. So what Max has done,
But you have
is
to
he has
solitude the
presented
Nomad, and
Nadu,
then your
Winged
opponent gets to like
Wisdom
draw
with
2
both
cards off of the
and
Shuko.
Nomad's
That really
Encore on the
sucks.
battlefield. So, you know, presuming Max is ready with Swords to Plowshares, he can respawn
Wait, what-
by just targeting all of his creatures a million
Yeah, there's a
times with
solitude,
Nomads,
and he pitched
still get a ton of
Recruiter of the Guard to the
value
solitude. It
goes
looks
anywhere.
like, and now we're resolving
Apologies for
another
that, we did
Recruiter of
have
the
a
Guard.
video issue, so you got to come back and
What
see
would
our,
I- alright, let's hang on before we
beautiful,
see what he
handsome
gets.
son. Well, that's at least.
What would I do here? I think AJ has a solitude in hand, if memory serves, but perhaps not. I guess we'll see. That was a really weird cutaway. I have no idea why we did that. I just have to deduce what happened, and it looks like I don't know what the cards that Max picked up off the solitude were. Why did we cut away? Because it looks like we solituded the Nomads and then blasted the Nadu after a Shuko equip. So Max got to draw 2 cards, one of which was an Urza Saga because it's in play and untapped now, which again also sucks a lot. I think Recruiter Mag is here. Stone Rains the Saga shuts down Cavern. Yeah, I agree. We have the board. We have like the ground locked down pretty reasonably against like even 3 constructs with a Johnny really helps there. It also is a red card to pair with a Johnny, which is nice. If like we end up blocking one of these constructs, flipping the Johnny, next turn we cast Magus. The question is if he has like Solitude in hand and wants to like try to put the shields back up, but putting the shields up sucks so bad when your opponent just has Shuko in play already.
True.
You have
and
you really just
we
want
should be
like
back into it now.
6th land.
Apologies for that. A brief technical
Magus
count
here.
causing a interruption.
Would
to
you get
the
Magus if you don't have
video-
land 6?
video
I would
game,
I would slam Magus if I had
We're away.
land 6, but even
So,
without,
yeah,
I'm
we
not sure
missed,
because none of your 2s are good here.
somewhat of a significant.
He's thinking about getting a
but what I
Johnny
was
just to flip.
describing
That
is
seems kind of weak here.
it
No red
looks from the
card.
graveyards that AJ was actually well prepared for that eventuality with both a Pyroblast and a subtle solitude.
Thinking about Skyclave to answer the
But
Shuko.
Max
That's
was able to
also
get
kind
his
of understandable.
value,
I guess
draw a bunch of cards, restock
not
his
that
hand,
good
put
because
extra lands on the
this
battlefield.
Saga's in play, right? Presumably is more than one Shuko. Yeah, 2 Shukos in deck. So I'm not that thrilled to have a
Nadu including
Skyclave.
that
Maybe his
versus
plan is
Saga,
just
so kind of both
Skyclave
players
it,
with
get
an
Yorion in
impressive
hand,
showing
Skyclave it
and
again.
games.
Yeah, so part of it is that he wants a
Right,
white
Skyclave
card, right?
version
Because he has
pick up
Solitude in
of
hand,
that
so he wants to
Recruiter
like
of the
not be
Guard.
dead if Max has
Now,
not
can
number
AJ
2.
deploy? No, we wouldn't really want to anyway. Just get rid of
But
the
like
Shuko, but
giving
there
your
are
opponent another
ways to trigger
divination is
the,
not
the Nadu
super
Shuko
exciting.
down. So he's going to hold
You
on to
might
that.
just
and see what he wants to do
need
with
to
it.
or like try to
Time.
fade a draw step
One
instead.
mana.
Notably, the Cavern of Souls.
Is this
was
just
the
fucking
way that we screened
immediately
out
run back
the
Nomads into
Pyroblast.
Nadu? God
Could
damn
not
it.
actually counter the Nadu, but
Oh, this fucking card, huh? And then you solitude the Nomad, but then he's still gonna draw 6 cards, and then you just die anyway.
Solitude. Oh, okay. Here we go. We're going to get the Skyclave apparition so we can evoke a Solitude.
Jesus Christ. This is just
it's
what
gonna
happens
be on
sometimes.
the,
This
Nomads
sucks,
in core
yeah.
here.
Ban Nadu. Get this shit out of here.
And that must have been in response to the Nadu, correct?
I guess we have Caracas, so you
That's
can
in
actually only
response
draw
to
2
Nadu,
cards again,
and now
unless he flips
Nadu
like
is going
2
to
lands
resolve.
specifically.
Max is going to be able to target one thing with the Shuko equip, and AJ
And
is
then
going
you
to
top
bounce
deck
Nadu, which
Magus
will
to the
trigger it
Moon.
the second time. But the difference between Shuko and Nomad's Encore in this context is that you can only activate Shuko at sorcery speed when the stack is empty. So Max
Was
just
that
can't
Brainstorm
declare,
plus?
Hey, I'm targeting him. That you can't.
Oh,
you can
reveals
only
Brainstorm
activate
plus
Shuko
pending.
at sorcery speed when the stack is empty. So Max just can't declare, hey, I'm targeting a million things a million times, because no, you have to do it one at a time. And
It's
AJ
fucking
doesn't
one
get
of
one
Cav
to
missiles,
respond
god damn it, every
with
time.
And that's the difference, right? Because the nomads can be activated at instant speed. So
Correct.
this is why we see AJ Solitude the nomads, and then Caracas the.
He just got
the
4 for 1.
Nutty, because
Yeah.
otherwise,
This is
not sure
pretty
in response to
demoralizing.
the Caracas, I'll draw 8 cards. So
I'm confident.
a tidy.
I think I might have gotten
sequence
Magus and
there
accepted
from
dying
AJ,
that
but
exact
Max still
turn.
able to
But
get
also,
that
there was a
now of
card that
the-
AJ knew about that we as the audience did not. So,
So,
like, if it was second Nadu or
fascinating
something, very
because
obviously you're
on the
not
one
going
hand,
to
every
get
time
Magus.
this
I think I would have
happens,
probably just grabbed
Max
Magus
is
and
picking
accepted
up
dying. Because, like, I don't think solituding there and trying to, like, not die to Nadu is a
point
super
a removal
realistic
spell or an
path
activated ability
forward.
at it,
You think
you're
Nadu is face up?
valuing, you're getting value from that. On the other hand, you could say,
It's just
well,
like if
how
you're
long can Max
using your
afford to
solitude and the
spend
pitch
every
Skyclave
single
and you're gonna
turn
beat
treading
like
water
answer Nadu
with
that
AJ
way, it's
slowly but surely amassing this army of white creatures. So I'm still liking Max's
he solitude the
position,
nomads
and
and Caracas
based
the
on
next?
the,
No, because he cast
caliber of player
Pyroblast,
and
right?
caliber of deck,
Because his Pyroblast
I
is in the
am
yard.
optimistic about what you can put together.
So presumably he didn't just
Draw so many
Caracas the
cards.
Nadu, right?
But AJ is putting up a fight, and the longer Max takes,
Did Pyroblast get
to
forced
win the
and he had to
game, the more
Caracas
AJ
it
can do
maybe?
Scary stuff, including transforming a Johnny, maybe
The
presenting,
fucking cutaway is
broadside
really annoying.
bombardiers or other forms of disruption. It
Or
could
does
be
that,
anything.
we already dropped his.
I think everybody should know.
So
Caracas, the call for
Caracas on
Removal.
tap 2 that turn, but he differently blasted. Yeah, I mean you want to kill it permanently
That.
if you
My
can.
goodness. Well, one of the table judges has just got terrific.
Yeah,
insight
top
on
deck
that.
Magus right there could
Okay,
do
looks like a
something.
cartoonist.
Top deck's Recruiter the Guard, but still
Alright.
doesn't have the land
And,
for it.
We're gonna see on AJ's side of things now 3 mana.
16.
Oh no, not top deck Recruiter Guard. I think that's add your hand to hand. JK.
This is what he played there. Oh no, he put Yorion in hand. Okay, and now he's attacking the cavalry. Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
This is on.
Yeah, this is a very demoralizing game 3 to play. The fucking Cavernous Souls soloing him and like the
Recruiter, get another
the double Nomads into Nadu
Oh,
turn.
Johnny. It's not too bad, hey.
You have a bunch of removal,
Yeah,
but you need
Yorion
to
is a
be forced to
long-term
cast the
value
Solitudes
card,
proactively and like
but
let
I
your
don't
opponent
think
draw a
that's
bunch of cards off
what AJ
Nadu.
needs. I think Max is going to win the value game, and AJ had a couple of windows where if he had been able to present a really brutal, resilient clock, maybe he could have pulled ahead in this game. But the fact is, he's devoting so many resources towards removal spells, towards Grafdigger's Cage, towards whatever it might be.
Yeah, if this Grafter's
that
Cage were like
he's not
something
really
else. I don't know
able
what
to
he bore out
also
for it,
be
but obviously this
a
Grafter's
really
Cage is
scary
good for
aggro
solving
deck at the same
Nadus. But wouldn't be super keen on having it in my deck regardless.
Alright.
Curious what
Brainstorm.
else it could be
Now
though.
Urza's Saga is going to go and get
Guess the name which card.
a copy of.
Why is there Soul Guide
Guide
Lantern in
Lantern,
Max's
it
deck?
looks
You just like
It is,
want to have a
yes,
card
I
to
think you're right,
cycle
yeah.
your.
Good pickup. Soul Guide Lantern. That one's come out.
Are
of
you
the
ever
side.
getting something that isn't exactly Shuko or Needle in this matchup? Did Max get just like obliterated by a pre-war formal wear in a previous game?
Nadu.
And here's Nadu once again.
Nadu.
Caracas is now shut down.
The judge has
Still
to make
taps
up
the
play
mana,
when he was
so it
searching
won't
for
be able
cards, he
to
just defaulted
do
Soul.
anything
Well, you grab the
about that.
Skyclave, but yeah.
Construct.
The Nadu here.
Construct. Yep.
So you can see Max just going off, grabbing a ton of cards.
I
here.
mean, if you grab the Magus there, you just literally die to the Nadu. So grabbing the white card makes
Like a
some
force
amount of
will
sense.
as well.
It just,
Land crits. I don't think
I guess no, because you had a Johnny plus Caracas. You could pick up your own Johnny
So very good
there
turn
and
for
pitch
Max.
that to the Solitude.
Yeah, it's difficult for
And then
Max
you have
to
Magus,
win,
and then you could Magus to like
where,
potentially
you know,
have stopped
it's
this.
more
That might have
complicated
been-
for him to win because he can't
That might have been the
do the
out,
tread
right?
return fastest Oracle thing in the face of Grafdigger's Cage.
It's not even like the
fact is
out
he just doesn't
necessarily.
need to,
Like
right?
Max
If he
has
sits here and draws
basic island, basic
6 cards
planes, and
plays
could
some
easily just
creatures
like have
and
found like Swords of
Swords of
Plowshares
Plowshares,
or
something,
Prismatic
gets a Force
Ending,
Will in his
which
hand.
we knew was like pretty
That's
close to the
plenty
top of the deck
enough, and that's
because he
part of
found it
the
off the
reason
Nanu
that
triggers
Nadu
like the
is
following
so
turn.
strong in Legacy
And then the
Modern,
Prismatic Ending
you
can
know, when it was in
clear
Modern.
the Magus, but
You
like
get
that gives you a bunch
variety
of turns to
shots,
just.
pairing that.
I guess no, because he literally flips it that turn, right? Because you have to cast the Solitude that turn anyway. You pick up the Ajani,
You know,
you
games just don't
Solitude
last
the
long when
Nomads.
players able to do what
Although
Max-
then you
Max
get got
does.
because your Caracas is tapped,
Honda.
and then the Nadu
Yeah.
just kills you with the Shuko still. So it doesn't like
And there are answers
quite
that Max
work
will
out.
have.
But
to,
it would require your opponent to have Nadu,
Grafdigger's Cage,
second
Castle
Nadu
Prismatic
plus
Ending,
second Nomads.
clear it out of the way.
I think that's the line I would have gone for. And then also lost this game in a landslide, but you know.
So the Ponderer is a shuffle here. So Max will draw a fresh card off the top and finds the Prismatic. Is that a Prismatic Ending?
It is indeed, yeah.
Get rid of Ajani. Oh, he's just super not worried about the Grafdigger's Cage. Just gonna win with the good old fashioned Shuko beatdown.
Yeah, it looks like
Honestly,
AJ's just
Riley, for all we know, Max could have
Ugh,
out some
he's
amount of
fucking
his
dead
graveyard
here.
stuff.
True. Yeah.
That
I could see a world where you
is
cut
how
your
it is
Oracle,
sometimes.
Dread Return, Memory's Journey, and Force
Even in top it, I don't think I could
okay,
live with giving Nadu the pleasure of drawing 10 cards a turn. Yeah, I might have just picked up my cards once
Gonna win with
the
time on it,
Nadu
just
triggers started
drawing a ton of
happening.
cards.
But like you're in top 8, you want to like play some
Alright.
weird ass
Ton of
bullshit
cards,
happens.
7 cards in hand here for Max.
Your
They're
opponent
down
hits like
3,
6
not a lot
lands in a
going on.
row. You
He
top
does
deck
have
like the perfect.
Yorion
Oh,
to draw here another Grafdigger's Cage
woof.
and a concession.
Yeah.
AJ Franklin goes down 2 games to 1
that-
against Max.
That is
They're
how
fresh and,
it do be
beginning,
sometimes.
This match.
Bummer. Unfortunately, those are the only games we get to see. Is AJ absolutely rolling Ari, and then AJ's game 3 getting dismantled by Breakfast. I would have scooped 50 game actions ago. Yeah, I definitely scoop in those spots. You, by no means do you have to play it out in that spot, no matter how dead you are. You're free to pick up your cards and go home. We're going to get past Mystic Forge anyway. He would have played against Nadu Elves, I think, in the semis, and you have a shot there. And then lose to Mystic Forge in the finals, but... Interesting. I think the only... Yeah, AJ just got to obliterate Ari. Pretty sick. And then I think that game 3 was very unfortunate. The Cavern just, like, always solos you when you have your Red Blast hands, but... That's life sometimes. Let's call it, huh? 11:30. We dropped at 2 and 1 from the LCQ thingy. Go find someone to raid. Anyone? There's been so much fucking arena on Twitch lately and just like no Magic Online. I don't get it. I don't know what changed the past like week. It's just been like so hard to find people that are just playing Magic Online. Is it because like Foundations just came out on Arena or something? But not been able to find people playing Moto. Who's this? All the legacy streamers are in transit or burnt out. Yeah, even just I just like try to raid legacy or not legacy. I just try to raid like Moto players more than anything. But anyway, speaking of being burnt out, I will probably be not playing Legacy next week because I have a Pro Tour to prepare for and basically 0 Legacy events to prepare for in the near term. So maybe we'll start streaming some Standard. As much as I don't know. People tell me Standard's good, but I'm like a Legacy one-trick. I can't play formats that aren't Legacy, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the vibes are. Maybe the vibes of Standard are good and I'll enjoy the time and people can come hang out. And we can play Standard. Chat can yell at me for being bad at Standard because it's not Legacy, so I don't know what I'm doing. But we'll figure that out next week. Thanks everybody for joining me today. Hope you had a good time. will ship y'all over to Game Crimes, who's playing. I can't even tell what format this is, but at least I can tell that it's MTGO. So have a good night, day, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all next week.